Hello. It is time. One more time. It is time one more time to hopefully finish this edit. Because it has been a while and I need to finish it soon. And I think today... Oh, today we have no lights today. I think today we might actually finish... Well, not finish it, but there's a little bit more here at the end that needs to be filled with clips. And I think that's going to be the goal for today, which shouldn't be too bad because this section is very simple. And then we only have these few bits right here left. And then the end has been reached. But of course, that doesn't mean that the video is done at that point. I need to go through everything again and, do a few more small adjustments. But welcome, Godzilla. Hope you have a good day. But that, that's still good because usually I try to get everything, like usually when I get to the end, I'm at like 70% of the whole thing. And then I can go through it again. You see there's like a little bit here that I haven't done yet. But these things I can fill once everything's done. Because these things are kind of like teasers for the next bit. And yeah, I need to finish the next bit before I can actually, add the teaser in there. Yesterday, I think we got all the way to here somewhere. And then, I think somewhere here. And then I worked a little bit more offline. Which was adding some clips over here to this section. And this is like the compilation section, which I still need to edit. Which is going to take a bit longer. But, that's... because I want to use some more complex effects here, it's probably going to be a bit too heavy on my PC, unfortunately. Which means I will do this offline, but, that's not... that's just kind of how it is. But we can at least, hopefully today, as the goal, finish this section right here, which is how long? 7:36 to 9:17. So roughly... almost 2 minutes, which is not too bad, I guess. Usually I think the most we finished in one stream so far, I think it was yesterday or the day before, which was a minute and a little bit more than, I think even more than that. So we're not, I guess maybe we're not just gonna finish this today, but at least let's try to get as far as possible, and then hopefully I can finish the whole video tomorrow. That would be great. Because, I set myself a, what would you call it? I have like a calendar of all the cool things releasing, like games and movies throughout the year. And I like to create videos around some of them when they release, right? And today is the release of the Deadpool movie. And if I can finish the video and upload it and maybe release it on Sunday, that would be great. I think I'm fairly confident in that, but we'll see. Welcome, Red Log. Hope you have a good day. Yeah, let's just get into it. So this section is pretty simple because I'm just talking about... And if you want to get some deeper insights into how I improve your own 3D animation. How to improve your own 3D animation. Then you can make sure to check out my newsletter where I share. There you go, newsletter. So I just need a little bit of like footage from the newsletter. I have recorded some before, but I think I'm gonna create new footage just because it is. There have been new posts, and might as well show the newest version. Here you go. Look at this, beautiful. If you want to check it out, you can do so. Hold on. Here you go. Yeah, so I'm just gonna probably do, just a few shots of this, and then I can put them together. How long is this section actually? Oftentimes I come across info that I've never seen explained anywhere else, and in this newsletter I can share that stuff in more depth than I ever could in a video like this. Click the... Wait, I also just noticed. This section I think I can fill pretty quickly, and then it's time for another song. I think I already have one in mind, but You never know. Maybe that one actually doesn't fit as well and there needs to be a different one. Either way, we need to find a new song and put that in there. But let's first do this part here, which, should be too hard. Let me grab something? No. Oh yeah, let me set this up so it's visible. Actually, like this, and then I'm just setting up, and then I can open a new OBS window to record this window real quick. Okay, perfect. Let me grab a new OBS, and then I can do that. Oh. Okay. Today is a more, at least over here, it's a bit cloudy today, so it's not too warm right now, which is actually a good change to the last few days. Last few days have all been quite sunny and quite warm, which I can especially feel the later it gets, because the warmth just, I guess, just gets warmer and warmer and warmer in my room. My room is facing the side that the sun is rising from in the morning, which means that I get sun in the morning. But that also means that, it's not that... Usually my room is the coldest one. But even mine gets warmer as the day goes by. So it's not unbearable, but it's still... I still need a fan. Maybe not today, but though, because it seems like at least it's a bit colder. The worst weather though is when you get rain and then it's warm again, because then you get like this damp air that just drains all your energy for some reason. Yeah, and you're just sitting there like with this feeling like you have like just no energy for no reason. Just because the weather just has a little bit more, just because the air has a little bit more water in it. Okay, yeah, so let me do this real quick and then make a quick, just scroll down a bit like this. Yeah, I try to post new newsletters every week. I should post one today, but I think I want to focus on the video for today. There's no like set schedule that I have for this, but it's just something that I like to keep up. And here you can see some small tips that you can see in it, like for example how you can add more more detail to like a low resolution texture, or how you can avoid harsh lines on glossy reflections, for example. All these things I kind of had to figure out. Here you can see with like very soft lights you can do that, and you can see how the reflection is like way softer and it's harder to see it, I guess. And also how you can use an HDR to create an environment. If the environment is not like the main focus, this works actually pretty well. So for this scene, for example, I've used it for a video, and it's just there's just a basic HDR. Maybe you've seen that video actually where I got that from, which was just like a video that somebody made, where they showed how you can just use a simple cube and an environment texture node to create, to use an HDR and to put that on the cube, and then if you extrude the cube, you could basically rebuild the environment that the HDR is kind of showing, which is really cool. And then this way, without, usually what you see is that HDRs don't really have depth, because if you, rotate around or you move the camera, you never really see parallax, because, it's just an image, there's no depth in it. But if you, if you actually model the environment or use that technique, you can actually create depth in that environment and actually make it look like it's, it's a real environment, which is really cool. Okay, I think let's go to one more maybe. Maybe this one, shading techniques I needed years ago. And there you go. Welcome, Guy Man. Hope you have a good day. Love your Berserk video. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, in this one, I kind of shared some interesting ways to add depth to shaders, like ray marching and like depth maps and stuff. And these are like really weird. It's kind of like ray marching kind of feels like you're programming into a shader, like this one. So this thing right here, like the robot that you see right here, this is just I think it's a cube or a sphere, and only through shaders this robot has been modeled by Arendelle. You can kind of somehow use math, vector math or whatever, to make it appear like, to make an object appear like a whole different object. It's really, really weird. And it is, yeah, it's kind of like you're programming a renderer, I guess, like a path tracing renderer into the shader, where you're telling it, you know, to read certain things way differently than the model actually is, I guess. And yeah, it's a really weird technique that can create some really, really cool results. I've seen somebody create like a sky of clouds with just a plane that you can look around in, or this, for example, which is like this galaxy volume thing. Yeah, there's some really, really interesting stuff you can do with it. But it's also, in my opinion, kind of, you know, hard to learn because it's a lot of math, and also kind of like theoretical math where you have to think what this math operation does to the overall vector calculation or whatever. It's really, really yeah, it's it's very in-depth. I'm not a math expert or a math you know, I don't really like math that much, so I try to stay away from it as much as possible. So it's not really something that I necessarily want to get into. But, you know, if I see a cool node setup that uses those techniques, that isn't too hard to use, and, you know, or to copy, then I might use it and share it in one of these in these newsletters, like this one, for example, where I showed this one right here, the parallax effect for example, anime eyes, with a fairly simple node setup like this, not too bad, and this. Yeah, I can create some really, really cool looks like this one, for example. Yeah, like a whole different ways to create parallax in Blender's shader nodes. But this one I think is one of the simplest ones. I think there's one that is even simpler, but I think that one requires textures. I don't remember. Okay, I think that's enough. I don't need too much because I'm also switching between footage and this recording stuff, so yeah, I don't need too much more. Actually, I don't need any more. There you go. I don't need you. Okay, good. What is all this? Oh, right, for the compilation. Okay. Pull that over here. Perfect. What do we need? We need the video first. And put that in here. Okay, so I think I'm just going to select a few good clips, and then I need a few more, a few more clips of footage, but that shouldn't be too hard to figure out either. And then this section is basically solved. And then I think then we need to go into music, which is exciting because, in the grand scheme of things, finding music, finding songs, and putting it together into the actual video is usually not the biggest task. Usually just finding clips takes the longest. But yeah, so every time there is music to get to find, it's a nice vacation from the rest of the work. Okay, this one, yeah, that's nice. There you go, showing off some examples. Let's see what else we have here. This one maybe too. Okay. After the Elden Ring video was done, creating the Elden Ring chess set pieces, I got a new printer. The old one I've used to print the pieces, of course, and then I got a new one, which actually is like 15. I told someone that works a lot with 3D printing too, that I just wish 3D printers were just more like normal printers, where you just say, hey, print this, and then it just starts printing it. And I had like 50,000 problems with my old printer. It kind of felt like there's like 50 screws and knobs you can change to adjust what the print result looks like. And when you change one, another one changes, and then you change another one, and then another one changes, and you can never find the perfect result. I mean, the perfect settings for a good print result. It was like, doing 50 tests just to see, just to create a good, I guess, printer's settings setup. And in the end, it still doesn't change anything. That was always my experience so far, because, when I used the first printer that I've ever bought. And then I just recently got a new one, and this one is basically this one's basically like what I was talking about. You just say, hey, print this, and then it just does it all on its own, and also faster and also better. So I printed some of the figurines again, which I thought, weren't that great. And they came out, so much better and also faster. I think it was like 50 to 30% just faster overall, which was also really, really nice. Because the previous one, like the last figurine that I printed, which was the biggest one, was it took like 21 hours or so. So I had to print it overnight. And the problem with that is always, sometimes something goes wrong in the middle of the print. So you set it up somewhere in the morning, and then it's like halfway done, and then you go to bed. And then while you're sleeping, it breaks, and you're just, waking up to like this mess of a print. And yeah, and now with this new printer, that just hopefully, if the print isn't too big, that just won't happen, because you can just print faster. Like, you can just print the whole thing in a day. I think this one, that print that took 21 hours on the old printer took like 9 hours. It was crazy. Okay, perfect. And it actually feels, it kind of feels like a normal printer now, because it actually is, just doing everything on its own. You don't have to fiddle around with anything, which is really, really nice. Okay, let's see. And if you want to get some deeper insights into... Okay. Let's see where we can place these pieces of clips. These clips right here. Let's see. 3D anime scenes. Make sure to check out my newsletter. There you go. Okay, so this one's probably going to be the first one. Right here. Make sure to check out my newsletter, where I share Oops. Make sure to check out my newsletter where I share all tips and tricks that I learned during these projects. Oftentimes I come across info that okay, this one, yeah, I mean, I think the first bit here can just be all tips and tricks that I learned during these projects. Just like, you know, clips of the newsletter. Maybe here now. Oftentimes I come across info that I've never seen explained anywhere else. And in this newsletter, I think there I want to have a different clip just to kind of change it up a bit and then bring it back to the same newsletter stuff here, for example. Yes. Explained anywhere else. And in this newsletter, I can share that stuff in more depth than I ever could in a video like this. Okay. Than I ever could in a video like this. Click the... Okay, perfect. Only a little bit more and then this section is already done. I just need a few clips and those shouldn't be too hard to come by. Let's see what we could use here. Maybe even final shot stuff, because that could create some interesting visuals. Yeah, let's see. Welcome Dark Souls. Is that a squirrel? Or is that a hamster? What is that? Hope you have a good day. Let's see if we can find something cool. Oh, like for example here maybe? Let's see. Oh, why am I moving around so much? What is this? I need some good footage here. Nope, that's not good. Nope. Okay, let's see. Maybe the different shot is better. Maybe this one. This one's good. So here's something that I actually tried for this shot. Since I have multiple line art modifiers, one for the outline, one for the, let's call them inlines, the manual lines, and then one for the contours. So all the lines that the line art modifier automatically detects. They're all on different layers, of course. And what I thought about was, you know, how you can see it oftentimes in, it's not like sketches, like the I don't even know what you call those. These animation sheets. Let's see if I can find them. Animation sheet or whatever. These maybe animation sketch. These things right here. How you can see these different line colors for the, I don't even know what it's like the sketch for the animation, but it also gives you more info. Like this one, for example, where you can see here like different zones of color, I guess. And I think, you know, they somehow tell maybe the illustrator or whatever which parts should have the same color or something. I don't know exactly how it works, but these kind of things, you know, I got kind of reminded of this with these sketches. Oops.
Hi.
Hi. Of these different, colored lines. And one problem that I encountered here with these sketches, or no, with the line art, was that when I wanted to edit them, I didn't know which lines they were. So what I tried here was just giving each modifier a different color. But that also didn't work that well. You can see it here. It wasn't really, I didn't even fully remember why it didn't work that well, but it was just too, it didn't really solve the problem that I had. I think it was because it was hard to see the lines in when I was working on them. I don't know exactly what the problem was, but it definitely didn't help. Maybe I just need to test around with it more and, you know, play around with it. Maybe I can find a way to use this, because this seems very useful, you know, seeing the lines and then the colors. Makes it easier to see which layer is which line, but it's still, I think it just changed the look of the whole thing too much for it to be effective. So I couldn't really see if the line that I maybe want to edit, you know, it looks good or not. Yeah, like this. You know, it makes it kind of hard to see what the final result looks like if all the lines, for example, are black. If they're all in these weird colors now. But, you know, it was worth a try. And this actually might be a good shot to kind of showcase for a kind of tip and you know, trick that I've discovered. There you go. Let me grab this. Today we're starting with some what is it, funk music. Because why not? Oops. Let's set it to 500. Right here. Oftentimes I come across info that I've never seen explained anywhere else, and it... Okay, I think I'm just gonna cut it up as well. Oftentimes I come across... Right here, for example. Info that I've never seen... Okay. I come across info that I've never seen explained anywhere else. Perfect. Oftentimes I come across info that I've never seen explained anywhere else. And I don't know why, but today I'm feeling a bit tired, sleepy. It was kind of that was kind of the case for the last few days. I don't know why. You know, sometimes you know, that's kind of the worst problem. You go to bed, you sleep, and then you wake up tired. What is all that about? Why even go to bed at that point? Just let me get out of this. What I want to get out of it. Why do you even, you know, why do you do this to me? It's so weird. It's like you have to hope, you have to gamble that you actually, you know, get rest during the sleep, and you can't even. I guess you can affect it by, like, you know, the circumstances or whatever, or how long maybe you sleep. But still, just do what you're supposed to do. Let's see. Let me check this section. Click the first link in the description and check out some of my previous posts. I bet you'll learn something new. Okay, perfect. So I think I can use one more clip here. Maybe the beginning clip. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna screenshot. Oops. Screenshot the whole site, and then I can use that. Yeah, it's like you go to bed. Okay, nice. Good choice. And then you just, yeah, especially, it feels like you go to bed. No, you like, it feels like you wake up and you feel good because you got woken up from being deep asleep, I guess you could call it. But I think that's not a good thing, because I think what you should be is you should get woken up from being half asleep, because you've already gotten so much rest. But if you get woken up from being asleep, like in deep sleep, it would be like you haven't gotten much sleep, and then at the end you finally got into getting, you know, good sleep, and then you get waken up too early, basically. I don't know if that's the case, but it kind of feels that way. You've really improved in the use of Blender. Thank you. Do you get jobs like creating character for someone? I don't do any commissions or works for other people. I just create my own stuff. People have asked me before, but I've always declined. What was it? Oh, right. There you go. Okay, perfect. So, what is the archive? Oh, okay. let me see. So there's a cool add-on that I have. I think I still have it, which is the go full page thing. It just screenshots the whole page and gives you this. Very cool. And then that makes it much easier to kind of share a whole page. Like for example, if you go to Wikipedia, whatever, like Wikipedia ham, okay, ham, there you go. You can then, let's see how long the ham section is, but you want to show everything to someone, okay? They say, hey, can you give me the Wikipedia page for ham right now? You can say, hey, don't worry, I got you. And you just hit this button right here. And then there you go. You got him. And then you can send him this gigantic screenshot. Yeah, it's really good. One thing I wondered, hold on, let me see how long a screenshot can become. ArtStation. If you go to the browse section, explore. Let's see if we load more and more images. Let's see what happens. I don't exactly know how the add-on works with that. You can see how the loading bar. Can you see the? Yeah, you can see the scroll bar right here. If I go down, at some point it goes back up again because it loads new entries, I guess. Okay, let's see if this works. Let's see what happens if I now hit a screenshot. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, it's gonna take a while. Welcome, Used Tissue. Not late to the stream. Well, I think I started in like how long ago? 30 minutes. Not too bad. How are you so good at Blender? I loved your videos. They improved me to make my own. I'm glad to hear that. It's practice, I guess, a lot of practice, and time. I think time and practice are the best. Ooh, is it done? No, I think I skipped it. Let's do it again. Time and practice. There you go. That's all you need. Also, something I think interesting and to keep in mind maybe with time and practice is kind of similar to working out, where if you it's better to stick like to maybe like, you know, it's better to practice every day for like 30 minutes than practicing one time a week for like 4 hours, because like this repetition, oh my god. Look at this screenshot. Holy. Because the repetition, I think, makes it much, like, manifests it in your brain much better than if you were to just do it once, you know, once a week. Because it kind of keeps you, even if you don't do it, I think if you do it every day, it kind of gets your brain into the routine of thinking about what you're doing. And you not only, you know, not only by just doing the thing and practicing you learn, but also just by thinking about it and thinking about what you could change or what you could improve, you also learn. If you only do it once a week, I could see it being like, you think about it maybe on Thursday, oh, I'm gonna do this tomorrow. You know, I'm gonna practice tomorrow again. And then on that day you say, oh, you know, what do I want to practice today? And then afterwards, since you've already also practiced for like 4 hours, which probably can also be quite draining, you then probably think, okay, practicing's done. I don't want to look at this right now. And then you just, you know, forget about it until the next Thursday, and probably don't think about it as much. So even just like the not necessarily, yeah, I guess the frequency, I would say, is probably also more important than the what would you call it, the intensity. And especially because if you do a little every day, you also run the risk less of skipping or like of taking a break. First of all, because, you know, it doesn't feel like you work that much every day. And also, if you ever skip a day in that like 1 day a week cycle, you haven't done anything, you haven't practiced for 2 weeks almost, But if you skip a day in the daily thing, you've only missed one day. So I think what also helped me is that I just I guess especially now, since I do this for YouTube or content, I can work on this every day, and I think about it every day, which I think helps. Before that, I don't even remember. It's been quite a while. Before that, I think I still worked on something, usually not every day necessarily, but frequently, which I think helped as well. Welcome, Barone. Hope you have a good day. Broadcasting work is a good idea. Yeah, it was an experiment that I wanted to do. So far, it's not too bad. As long as I can fix my sleep, I can hopefully also get a little bit more done per stream. Okay. Wait, did I save the screenshot? I don't think so. Okay. Blender, nope, here. But it feels like when I stream editing, for example, I get more done. That's not necessarily because of the speed, but because of my, I guess you could call like motivation. Oftentimes when I just, edit offline, I guess, it kind of, I always, fall into these small traps of like, oh, I haven't seen this person in a long time. I used to watch them 5 years ago. Let's see what they're up to right now. And then I'm in like this small rabbit hole for like 15 minutes of just looking them up, losing, like 15 minutes. That doesn't really, of course, happen on stream, but also doesn't really happen afterwards then, which is interesting. Let's see, we go here. There you go. Haha. Okay, getting closer and closer to that new song. Let's see. Where's my... Also, if editing isn't your thing, next week I'm going to stream something different. Something similar to the Elden Ring video, but slightly different. Which also you might be able to have an impact on. So, yeah, if you want to see that, you can tune in on Monday. I'm not going to stream over the weekend because I want to fully focus on the video on those days. But I will, very likely start on Monday again. Let me get this. There you go. Where are the... There it is. Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah. Yeah, next week is going to be more Blender focused. Of course, this week there was none of it, but we're getting back to it. Let's get it in here. I think for this one I'm going to make a cool and slick 3D shot. Although, I think this... No, that's not going to work. It could... I want to... Do I want to try something? I don't know. Let me mark this. I'm going to do this offline, I think. Turn 3D. Okay. Just to make sure that I know what I'm talking about here. I want to make this like a cool little 3D view of this page. But I'm scared that this could could break the stream because my PC is is overloaded. So I'm not going to do it right now, but you will be able to see it later this week maybe, or on Monday when the video releases. If I ever had a cartoon studio, I'll hire you for... Oh, sure. Welcome, Red. I need one more clip and then it's time for music. And if you want to get some deeper insights into how to improve your own 3D anime scenes... Okay. I want to get some deeper insights. Let me grab some clips that I can put in there. This one maybe? Wait, what is the end of this one? Oh, right, okay. This one's pretty good. Kind of showing some weird tests that I did. I kind of like the effect of noise in these anime renders. They kind of give it, even just in like normal renders, they kind of give it this interesting texture, which it kind of looks like stipple. Have you ever seen stipple? Was it stipple like shading or whatever it's called? Let's see if I can find it. Oops. Stipple shading. This stuff. Stippling. There you go. It's like drawing something with only dots. And you can create a very simple shader like that in Blender. It's really interesting. It looks really cool. Let's see if I can find it. Like this. There are some more complex ones. This one's also stipple shaded. And this can create some really cool visuals like this, for example. With the, it looks kind of like I don't know, like grains of sand or whatever. Or let's see, there was a video that I saw. Let's see, in videos or just all. Oh, this one it is. If you add some color to it. And also, what's also really cool is that it, you know, just changes through time if the light at least changes. You can probably also add like a seed so that it changes automatically. But yeah, once you add like some cool, yeah, look at this. Looks really, I don't know, I like the look. I haven't really found a way yet to implement it, but it looks really cool. And then if you know, look at the examples here, this one, for example, looks really cool, especially with this like very monochrome color scheme. Or this one here, yeah, it can create some really cool visuals. There you go. So maybe you get inspired and want to use this as well. Feel free. I like it. And this kind of noise is kind of, you can kind of recreate it with just like a simple noise texture on an image like this. And if you zoom in, you can kind of see it, how it just like adds a tiny bit of, you know, texture to everything. Even like these sections here. You can also make it so that only the glow gets kind of noisy, which is also interesting. Yeah, there's some interesting ways you can use it. I just haven't found the best way to use it for these scenes at least. But, you know, the final look isn't 100% done yet. So maybe I can find something really good for this. With, you know, find some way to use this, because it looks really cool. And if you want to... If you want to get some deeper insights into how to improve your... And if you want to get some deeper insights into how to improve your own 3D anime scenes, make sure... Okay. So this section's basically done. Ooh, nice. Perfect. Now we need the new song. And I think I know what song I want to use, but, you know, let me look and see. So this song, of course. Hold on. So this song, so it started, this kind of part of the video started somewhere over here, I think. No, it didn't. It started even earlier. It started over here, where I talk about like the 2D style, how I achieved the 2D style. And then I transitioned over to the finishing the 2D style with some compositing. So it started all with this, kind of figuring out, oh, how to create the best 2D style with what I have. Going into like why you don't want to use line art textures for line art, or what instead you can use, for example. And these edges are the secret. And then the music kind of ramps up, because it was kind of like this moment of an issue, of a problem, like, oh, what else could I use instead of texture line art. And then, oh, these edges work really, really well. And then the music gets a bit more, you know, upbeat, and everything is happy again. And then it gets even more, you know, even more energetic. And I wanted to kind of carry this energy over to the next section. So I kind of wanted to have a song that is a bit more, even more energetic than this one. This one's kind of like you're strolling through the, wheat fields. And then I wanted to have something that is a bit more, yeah, even more energetic. It's like you're running because you finally have solved all the problems that you wanted, and you can finally have fun with like some compositing and stuff. So this part is basically, yeah, like the fun section begins here, I guess, where you experiment a lot with some other stuff, with some compositing that I've never done before, and this kind of energy I want to carry for a while. And now we get to the section after the compilation, which, kind of is the culmination of all this energy. I wanted to bring down the energy a little bit again with after this here. What I want to have here is probably like a feeling of a bright future, I guess, just to kind of give you the feeling. Or like just to kind of support what I'm about to talk, what I'm talking about right here, which is like now that I have like this general idea, I can get into the actual animation for this next part and what my plans are to create the animation and make it as good as possible. Welcome. Oh yeah, that pool scene looks so professional. I think it's so from all the projects that I've made, of course, I think this one comes the closest to 2D. Now that I've kind of had the other two projects, the Berserk and the Spirited Away, where I kind of discovered all the techniques and what you can do with it. Now that I've kind of have a grasp on most of them and how you can use them, this one I think was kind of it's kind of a step forward, I guess, where I can finally kind of explore something myself and can combine all the things that I've learned into this now. This can probably still be improved, but even if you just look at one of the final shots, for example, which is this one, where I've added a 3D ground here. I think this looks like you drew this on top of the 3D ground, as if this was a 2D thing, and you drew it on top of this. Of course, this is only a still shot, but once this is animated, this could cause some new problems. But I think if you're working a little bit differently than what I've done before with the other projects, I think I can make it look like this for all of it. Make it look 2D for all of it. I think the secret is just to, since this frame looks, at least in my opinion, 2D enough, okay? I think I can, if I focus on each frame, on each of these poses, on each frame of the animation, and try to make it look 2D, I think the final look will also be 2D. But that is just, that is just my thought right now. Maybe that's not going to be the case. We'll see. Maybe the movement will make it look 3D again. We'll see. But I think I could transfer this to movement too. We'll see though. Yeah, this one. This one, of course, kind of looks a bit different, but also since the gun is such a 3D object, this one might look a bit more 3D, but yeah, well, I'll experiment a bit more. Okay, so, oh yeah, the music. Let's see what we can find. When do you think this video will be posted? Probably on either on Sunday probably or on Monday. There you go. Same time as usual, which is 6 p.m. UTC. So you can put that in Google and see what your time is when that's for your time. Oh, yeah, right. So, okay. So let's see what we can find here. So I had one song that I had in mind for this, and I wanted to use something that is kind of similar to this, but just a little bit less energetic and a bit more hopeful, I guess. Less like in the moment and kind of thinking like, oh, you know, right now is really fun, and more about like, oh, but what about the future? And the future is going to be even better, kind of in that direction, kind of dreamy, I guess you could call it. And for that, I have my good old For the Future playlist with all the songs that I might use in the future. And I don't remember the image that it had that I wanted to use here, but this one definitely isn't it. This one also not. I think it's this one. Let's see. No. This one is a bit too energetic. Nope. That's definitely not the one. Nope. It must be somewhere here. I remember it. I remember. It might be this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. Either this one. It might be either this one or this one. No, that's the one that I'm using right now. So it's not this one. It must be this one or this one then. Hold on, what about this one? No, this one definitely not the one. I think it's this one. Let me remove this one real quick. Select it, okay. Yeah, so I think it was this. Let me listen to the non-vocal version. The instrumental version. Yeah, so we maybe could start with this section right here, or end with it. Could also be interesting. Then it ramps up a bit again to kind of signal like, oh, it's getting better and better. And then of course we come to this section right here. See this one? Comparing it to this one here, it's a bit less energetic, but it still kind of retains that energy and just gives you, yeah, kind of a slightly different feeling, which is exactly what I'm looking for. And even if it might get a bit more energetic here than I might want, I could still probably just remove some of the instruments and make it sound a bit more chill. Okay, have a good one. Use tissues. Yeah, this is where I get my music from. Epidemic Sound. Since, I don't even remember how long I've used this now, but for quite a while. Before I just used non-copyright songs. But finding those, oh, and also using the what is it called? YouTube Music, what was it? YouTube, it's not YouTube Music, but there's like YouTube Music Library. YouTube Audio Library. This is what I've used before. Here you can find some pretty good music too, but you don't have as much freedom with them as you have with Epidemic Sound. But of course, what you do have is the license for all of these. So you can just use these for all your videos. I see since there is a column here, it might be actually a bit different for some of these. I don't know. Maybe some of these have a different license. It doesn't look like it, but let's see. Yeah, you can use this audio track in any of your videos, including videos that you monetize. So you don't have to oh wow, that's loud. You don't have to, name them in the comments or whatever, in the description or whatever. You can just use these. So that's what I used before. But the problem with these is, or the one benefit that you have with Epidemic Sound is that you get stems. So the song is, separated into the multiple parts that it consists of. So if you listen to this, for example, you can then only listen to, you can, for example, it's separated into the individual layers, I guess, like the instruments or the bass or the drums. And being able to, get these layers separately and being able to use those separately in your edits gives you a lot more freedom in how you can edit the song. Because if you just get the song itself, you can still edit it together in a different way, but it's way harder to get a, for example, like seamless sounding track than if you, for example, have something like this. And that's also something that I always think about when I think about like DJs. Since DJs, I think, also work with music stems, since they also need these different sections here so they can transition between them. So sometimes, they, when they want to transition from one song to the other, maybe they remove everything but the drums, and then then they speed up the drums a bit so they can get the BPM of the next song, and then they add the drums of the other song, and then they change it, remove the old ones and add more to bring it into the next song. And something I wonder is where they get, maybe they work in a different way, but I always wonder where they get the stems from all these mainstream songs from, since there is a website where you can actually license mainstream songs for your videos on YouTube, but you don't get the stems, you just get the full song. So where do they get them from? I don't know, but it's a mystery I've yet to solve. But that's why, I like Epidemic Sound. Let's play this. Wait, I'm still gonna save this because maybe I'll use the voiceover. There you go. Full mix. Yeah, no, all stems. So you can either choose full mix, which just combines all the layers into one, or you can use all stems, which is what I always like to use. Here, music. What am I looking for? Oh, right. It's a pop song, right? Is it a pop song? Who knows? It is indeed. Oh, let's bring back, hold on. Music. Let's bring... Sorry, I don't know why I'm so tired today. Let's bring back the funk. Where were we? Right here? No, never mind. Hold on. I think maybe it's actually time for something new. What else do we have here? What about chill electronic music? Let's see what we can find here. Dreamy, hopeful, dark. Let's go with laid back and see what we can do here. Ooh, that's not too bad. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's put this music in here and see how we can tie this in with this last bit right here. I probably need one more song actually, because it looks very short, this section, but if you compare it to the length of this song here, it seems pretty long. Okay, but before we get into that, let's not get ahead and just get this song in here. I need a... It is in here. Perfect. Okay. Luckily, these songs the files for these aren't too big, because I think in terms of items in a folder, my video resources folder is probably one of the biggest ones. And if those would take a lot of space, then my PC would be very, very full. Luckily, that is not the case. What's the name called? What's the easily attached? Okay. Okay. Let's see how we can transition here. Bam, bam, bam. And then... Okay. Okay, let's listen to it first and see where we can create a good entry, or which point would be a good transition. Oops. So this beginning bit could be good, but this doesn't give me as much room to play with since it's only the drums. Oftentimes, if you get what is better to create a good transition is to have all the layers playing, because then you have a better way to mix it and transition it. But of course, it doesn't have to be this way. But I don't think I want to use the beginning section here, because I think what we've said before. Which one? Oh, this section here where it starts very slow might be a better one. I think here, yeah, nothing but the instruments are playing, but I think this one is still a better section to begin with because it also has a better ramp up to, yeah, this section over here where everything is playing. This one is a slower start, I guess. Actually, I want to listen to the beginning again just to kind of test that, but yeah, and then everything's playing. So that's a good transition here. I think everything immediately starts playing from what I can see here. Yeah, and I think I would prefer this. Kind of ramping it up slowly. So let me do this. And yeah, let's see how we can bring that in here. So this previous song ends with a reverb, like echo into the distance, if you listen to it. So it is fairly simple to move from one to the other, but let's see. First of all, I want to listen to the voiceover so I know what I'm talking about, so I can kind of see how I can separate the voiceover and see how I want to, intertwine it with the music. Let me play some music here. Okay. And now, to add that last bit of manual spice, I can edit and draw over the scene with a new grease pencil layer. I used this technique in my Spirited Away project where it basically fixed my horrendous model of the hero. And now here, it allows me to add the last bit of refinement to make it look as good as possible. Well, before compositing, of course. To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in 3 layers. The background, colors, and line art. This makes it much easier to adjust specific parts of the final result, like adding a glow to the bright areas or adding a slight gradient between the shadows and highlights. I've played around with a few different techniques between all of these, so the final look isn't fully determined yet, but it looks somewhat similar to this. Last time I created the characters, environment, VFX, animation, and... Okay, I think what I want to do is actually work the other way around. Instead of ramping it up, I think I want to ramp it down. So I want to know what the end sounds like and maybe then actually use this section here for the end. Let me see what the end sounds like. Okay, yeah, I think this section would work really well for this section over here where I talk about what I did last time and kind of want to explain what my plan is for this project. I think because of that, I think that would work better here because this sounds a bit more dreamy than all of this bit, and this I think staying energetic or beginning energetic I think is better to carry the energy, and then make it kind of like a nice I don't even like energy curve at the end. Let me show you what I mean. So if I go in here, do this. Oh, okay. So we have this right here. I bet you'll learn something new. I can then maybe, hold on. Bet you'll learn something new. Right here, I want to start talking again. That is when the music kicks in. Like this. So that, you can listen. And now to add, it kind of plays into it. That's one more thing that I really like to do sometimes, is that the voiceover is in line with the beat. And now to add that like this, and then also when I speak, sometimes that happens, and that's the best thing, that because that is always like, that always happens randomly when the voiceover is just says, just hits the beat really well. That creates like this really cool flow that I really like. But even just like this beginning bit is good, and then I can use the previous instruments here to create like an anticipation for the next little bit right here. I bet you'll learn something new. And now, and probably maybe remove this, and then let's see what it sounds like. I bet you'll learn something new. And now, yeah, I think that's nice. And then probably over here, we bring it in a bit so that it's not layering too much, and ramp this up slowly, so that we get a nice transition from one song to the other. If you would just, you know, add a song immediately, it sounds very harsh and like you've added some weird extra sound in there. But if you ramp both of them, one of them down, one up, you can create a nice smooth transition, hopefully like this. I bet you'll learn something new. And now to add, yeah, I think that's nice. I think that is pretty nice. Let's listen to a little bit more of it, because sometimes when you listen to more or like a longer part previously, and then you get to the transition, it can sound a bit different. So give me a sec, I'm going to recharge my headset, and then we can listen to the song a little bit longer. Okay, so yeah, let's listen to it and see what it's like. And if you want to get some deeper insights into how to improve your own 3D anime scenes, make sure to check out my newsletter, where I share all tips and tricks that I learned during these projects. Oftentimes I come across info that I've never seen explained anywhere else, and in this newsletter I can share that stuff in more depth than I ever could in a video like this. Click the first link in the description and check out some of my previous posts. I bet you'll learn something new. And now, it's quite a quick transition. So there's no, like, you know, since it's fairly sudden, it feels less smooth, I guess. So I'm curious what it would sound like if I just do this, and you can slowly hear it rising and rising, and hear this new sound come in. See what this, just elongating the transition a bit, what that would sound during these projects. Oftentimes I come across info that I've never seen. Let me actually mute the voiceover, since I want to fully focus on the music. I think that's better. Good thing is that these two have quite a similar BPM, I think, which makes it much easier to merge them. Let's listen to it again. Yeah, I think that's nice. I think that is pretty nice. So now let's see how we can finish this section. I think I'm actually going to stick with this one song. This video is kind of like, I guess, a new experiment where I just use longer, like songs for longer. At some point I've changed the song every like 30 seconds, but for some reason these songs in this video just always felt like they can cover more room, more ground. So I just kept them, you know, for longer. And let's see how long this section is, 8 to 9:15. That would be like 1:15. I feel like it can cover this whole section with like the changes that I probably want to do to it. Let's see. I think it can cover all of it. If not, then I guess there's another song that we can add, but I wanted to see what we can do here. Oh, right, voiceover. Last bit of a manual spice, I can edit and draw over the scene with... First of all, of course, it needs to be quieter. minus 23 is I think what I usually use here. Previous posts. I bet you'll learn something new. And now to add that, I also probably want to make the beginning here a bit louder because nobody's talking, so this can be a bit louder like this, and then this one can probably be gradually changed. And then we have a nice, and now to add, yeah, I think that's that's better. Usually when there's no voiceover, I like to just make the music a bit louder to kind of fill that empty room that has been left, the gap, the voiceover gap. And yeah, making the music a bit louder I think is a good way to do that. And also just to kind of showcase the music a bit better. We'll learn something new. And now to add that last, of course I should probably, you'll learn something new. Change it here too, since it comes in the new song when I'm still talking. So I should probably start, it should probably be quieter when I'm talking and then get louder when the gap happens. Like this. Bet you'll learn something new. And now, yes, exactly. To add that last bit of manual spice, I can edit and draw over the scene with a new grease pencil layer. I used this technique in my Spirited Away project where it basically fixed my horrendous model of the hero. And now here it allows me to... Okay, let's tighten the voiceover a bit. Basically fixed my horrendous model of the hero. And now here it allows me to add the last bit of refinement to make it look as good as possible. Well, before compositing, of course. To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in 3 layers: the background, colors, and line art. This makes it much easier. Are you reading the chat? Yes, I am indeed. Welcome, Mega Minx, hope you have a good day. Line art. This makes it much easier to adjust specific parts of the final result, like adding a glow to the bright areas or adding a slight gradient between the shadows and highlights. I've played around with a few different techniques between all of these, so the final look isn't fully determined yet, but it looks This one, no breathing allowed. But it looks somewhat similar to this. Last time I created the characters, environment, VFX, animation, and sound design all in one video. I think because of that, the end result, what was that pronunciation? Was a bit lacking. This time I'm gonna split up the project into parts. Deadpool obviously needs... Okay, I think that's better. Just like a few small cuts. What I usually do when I just cut down the voiceover, since I have multiple takes, I select the ones that I like the most. I usually do that in like 2x speed, so I can go through that quicker, which means I don't get the perfect pacing immediately. So sometimes I have to cut some small things like breathing or just like these tiny breaks, which kind of very, very slightly break the pacing. Yeah, that's what I just removed right there. And now to add that last bit of manual spice, I can edit. Now let's see how we can vary the song a bit to make it a bit more interesting. Really love your editing style, and I'm trying to balance something interesting in my video as well. Try to balance, okay. Is there a chance you would look at some when you have some time and tell me what I can improve? Sure, if you can post a YouTube link, I could do that. Yes, I can. Let's see. Yeah, let's see how we can intertwine the song a bit more with what I'm saying. And draw over the scene with a new grease pencil layer. I used this technique in my Spirited Away project where it basically fixed my horrendous model of the hero. And now here it allows me to add... I like this. I like how the song automatically, as if it knows what I want, it gets a bit more energetic when I talk about like this new cool thing that I've just used here, or how I use this technique that I've learned before in this new project hero. And now here it allows me to add the last bit of refinement to make it look as good as possible. Well, before compositing, of course. To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in and then maybe here. Well, I could maybe, what if I do this? Well, before compositing, to remove the instruments, and just make it a bit different.
Well, before compositing, of course. To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in 3 layers. The background, colors, and line art.
Oftentimes, if you either remove the drums, so if you remove the drums, hold on, let me show you what that sounds like. And that's why I like you working with stems a lot. Or removing drums.
Well, before compositing, of course.
Makes it sounds a bit more chill and there's less like speed to it and you can relax a bit more. And then if you remove the instrument and not the drums, remove instruments but not drums, it kind of sounds like it keeps the pace, but it sounds a bit less vast, I guess, with less depth. There's more of a sort of focus on the speed, I guess, or on like keeping the pace.
Well, before compositing, of course. To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in 3 layers. The background, colors, and line art. This makes it much easier to adjust specific parts of the final result, like adding a glow to the bright areas or adding a slight gradient between the shadows and highlights. I've played around with a few different techniques between all of these, so the final look isn't fully...
And then maybe I want to bring it back in here, or maybe even earlier. So I don't want to keep this section up for too long. I want to bring in the instruments at some point again.
Layers. The background, colors, and line art. This makes it much easier to adjust specific parts of the file.
Maybe even here when I talk about like, oh, this is why I did do this. Let's see how long this runs. I don't want to change it up too much too quickly as possible.
Well, before compositing, of course. To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in 3 layers. The background, colors, and line art. This makes it much easier.
I think this would be a bit too quick.
To adjust specific parts of the final result, like adding a glow to the bright areas or adding a slight gradient between the shadows and highlights. I've played around with a few different...
Maybe here, maybe yes. What if I do it here?
I've played around with a few highlights.
Maybe like this.
And highlights. I've played around with...
And then, what do you call it?
With a few different...
Oh no, hold on, this is perfect. We have a nice beat hit right here that introduces the instruments again.
I've played around with a few different techniques between...
Actually does it. Hold on. Oops.
Played around with a few different techniques between all of these.
Let me maybe actually do this.
And highlights. I've played around with a few different techniques between all of these, so the final look isn't fully determined yet, but it looks somewhat similar to this. Last time I quit...
Okay, and then we get to the section that is a bit more dreamy, a bit more in the future, which I definitely want to now change the section to a different part of the song.
Determined yet, but it looks somewhat similar to this. Last time I created...
Okay, so I want to first know what that section sounds like.
But it looked... Last time...
So I can see how I can transition it. Right here, this section, the one with almost no instruments playing, right here. Yes, maybe I can just even use this section here and tie that to the end of this part of this section here. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me listen to the drums.
I've played around with a few different techniques between all of these, so the final look isn't fully determined yet, but it looks somewhat similar to...
Okay, hold on.
Somewhat similar.
Here we have a clap.
Similar to this.
Which is very similar to this section. Listen.
Animation and sound.
This one has a double clap, which is previously here.
Final look isn't fully determined.
Nope, here.
I've played around with a few different...
And of course, this is a bit too early. So maybe I could just put that in here though. Hold on.
Animation and sound design.
So what if I just do this? Oops. This might be a bit too much, but I just want to see. Maybe it sounds perfect. Oh.
Somewhat similar to this.
Okay, well that didn't work.
Animation and sound design all somewhat similar to this.
Okay, I just need to kind of find a, way to put that into, to merge it into it so that it sounds insane.
Similar to this.
Let me hide this and then fully focus on this section without the voiceover. Oh. Aha, hold on. Oh. Okay, this, I think these are the same bits right here. So if I get this out of here and then replace it with this, it should be the same. Maybe one more frame, because it feels like it's just one frame too early. Oops. Ah, perfect. It sounds perfect. Okay, and then let's see what the rest sounds like. Oh. Yeah, it actually works. Hold on. Oh, wow, it actually works perfectly. Nice. Okay, so this also was a pretty easy transition. Which moves us to this section right here. This dreamy, more chill, section, thinking about stuff, thinking about life, thinking about all the obligations that you just don't have to do right now. It is Friday. Finally, the week is ending. You could fully focus on whatever you want to do. All the work can wait until next week. And you can just think about all the fun stuff you can finally do over the weekend. Maybe go out, whatever. Music is over, so no more voiceover. Let's see. So we have this section. Now it's just about finding the right opportunity to bring back the other instruments. So of course the song automatically does it. So slowly but surely it brings in more of the instruments. So for example here it started with only the instruments. Very dreamy. Very like night sky. Thinking about all the cool things. And then this is where the bass comes back in. Gives you a bit more enthusiasm. You think even deeper about all the cool things you're about to do or you want to do. And what you can do when you do it. And then you get this kind of boost of energy to get into the next, to do all those things. And what cool life you could live if you follow all those dreams. And yeah, now we just need to find a good way to create this introduction, to kind of how we want to time these introductions. This. Last time I created the characters, environment, VFX, animation, and sound design all in one video. I think because of that, the end result was a bit lacking. This time I'm going to split up the project into 2 parts. Deadpool obviously needs someone to fight, so I also created Wolverine already, which means that we have the characters and a concept for the final look. In the next video, we'll cover the environment, VFX, and obviously the animation itself. Until then, make sure to check out my newsletter. Okay. So, I think this comes in environment. It's too late. Just a tiny bit. And I feel like this too. Project into 2 parts. Deadpool, obviously, I think, hold on. Similar to this. Similar to. What if we just cut off a little bit off from the beginning here? Do this. Just a tiny bit. Let's see. Last time I this. Maybe this kind of small section right here. What does it sound like? Similar to this. Last time I created the characters, environment, VFX, animation, and sound design all in one video. I think because of that, the end result was a bit lacking. This time I'm going to split up the project into 2 parts. Deadpool obviously needs someone to fight, so I also created Wolverine already, which means that we have the characters and a concept for the final look. In the next video, we'll cover the environment, VFX, and obviously the animation itself. Until then, make sure to check out my newsletter with the first link in the description and watch this video next. Okay. I might want to use this section actually for the second increase. Hold on, let me listen to this. Or do I want to keep it dreamy? Hold on. And watch this video next. maybe I want to keep it duration. Hold on,
itself.
I'm not
Until
quite sure
then,
yet.
make sure to check out my new setup
Okay.
for the environment, VFX, and obviously the animation itself.
This section here.
This time I'm going to split up the
I
project.
don't know if I need. I don't know if I need the base to come in alone. Maybe we can just use this as the first increase, I guess. I'm curious. So just pull this forward.
This time I'm going to split up the project into two. Bit lacking. This time I'm going to split up the project into two parts. Deadpool obviously needs some.
Let me listen to a little bit more of it.
Last time I created the characters, environment, VFX, animation, and sound design all in one video. I think because of that, the end result was a bit lacking. This time I'm going to split up the project into two parts. Deadpool obviously needs someone to fight, so I also created Wolverine already, which means that we have the characters and a concept for the final look. In the next video, we'll cover the environment, VFX, and obviously the animation itself. Until then, make sure to check out my newsletter with the first link in the description and watch this video next.
I think that's nice. Especially also because of this little like high note when I talk about
Deadpool obviously needs
Hold on.
someone to fight, so I also created Wolverine and a concept for the
Right here,
final
hold on.
look. In the next video, we'll cover the environment, VFX,
Wait.
and obviously the animation itself.
Now.
Until then, make sure to check out my
Din, din,
newsletter.
din, din, din. Just like a little high note right there on the shout out. I think that's nice. And now all that is left is to add to since this, you know, the voiceover is over and then the outro screen comes in, we can make the song louder again.
Watch this video next.
And I also probably want to remove some of the instruments to make it just a bit more chill at the end. Again, to really bring it home. You know, as like this, you know, allowing you to think about what you just watched. And give you not like this energy and like, oh, I want to watch this. I want to, I don't know, do something. It just, you know, kind of give you this feeling of something cool just happened. Let me think about it. Let me. So this might be a bit too energetic. So let's see if we just remove some sections, if that makes it a bit more like this. Like the drums can probably go. Let's see what it just sounds like without the drums.
Next.
Okay, and then maybe, hold on, one more idea that I had was just to remove, to use the end right here, where I don't even, like where it automatically transitions to a more chilled version. This for the end, that could be good. What does the full end sounds like? Okay, I think I actually want to use the end section here. Let's listen to it again. I think so, hold on. So that means I don't even need to change. Well, I still need to change the volume, but I need to do that. Need to do that afterwards. Oh. Get rid of these real quick. And then see.
Video next.
Okay. So let me cut this real quick and see how I can tie this in here.
And watch this video next. Set it with the first link in the description and watch this video next. And watch this video next.
Okay. Hello, why can I not change? Oh, because these have... They have keyframes. Okay. Let's see how we can tie these in here. Okay, good.
Next.
So if I just put it at the end, it's probably not going to sound that good, but...
Next.
Oh.
Watch this video next.
It actually doesn't sound too bad. Hold on.
Watch this video.
It's kind of off, but it's not too bad. But I would probably like to have this when I stop talking. So what if I just put it here? Okay, that definitely doesn't work. Maybe here. I'm just gonna try every beat hit and see if it works. Let me listen to a bit more. It sounds kind of weird, but maybe with a bit more, beforehand, it doesn't sound too bad. No, that's weird. That's maybe better. That's also weird. Hold on. Maybe this was actually the best. Let's listen to it with the voiceover. Sometimes the voiceover can kind of mask the weird transition.
Check out my newsletter with the first link in the description and watch this video next.
Wait.
This video next. This video next.
What if I don't even need the drums?
Watch this video next. Video next.
It even sounds... Oh, right. Hold on.
Watch this video next. Video next. Video next. Next. This video next.
That might work. Hold on. I think we're onto something. I think we are onto something. I smell a trail. Let me listen to it a bit more.
Until then, make sure to
let me listen to it without the voiceover. Okay. Welcome back, used tissues. You can send the video link through Discord. There should be a link in the description on YouTube to Discord. You can just send it via DM. And then I can check it out. Okay. -13. -13 and -13. And then these also need to be, of course, -13. Let's listen to it. Oh, let me bring in the voiceover
itself. Until then, make sure to check out my newsletter with the first link in the description and watch this video next.
Okay, so here's the thing. The outro is only usually like 5 seconds long, 5 to 7. So this is a bit too long. I want to have the end like this. I want to have that in there. So let me listen to this. Maybe I can get rid of all this. Hold on. That sounds weird. Okay, well, maybe there needs to be a bit more fiddling. A little bit more testing it. Maybe I need a bit more room here. Hold on. This one starts a whole new string. Wait. Wait a second, what about this? Aha, hold on. I think we're one frame away from this being good. Oh, is that too long? It is too long by one frame. Let me change this. Give it a bit more room. Ah, perfect. I just need a bit more, a slight fade in. That's perfect. Let's listen to it. Until then, make sure to check out my newsletter with the first link in the description and watch this video next. Progress bar. Could be interesting. Might be a good idea for any project, I guess. Since I'm just thinking right now, since this, like the edit here is gonna be done after this week or after today, so it's gonna be useful for this stream, but could be interesting for the next week. I want to work on a sculpting project or like a project in Blender again, which means that you know, since it's a project that I want to finish at some point, a progress bar could actually be a good idea. Let me write that down. Wait, where's my... Oh. Oh, wait, I can do that here, right? Text. Progress bar here. No. I'm going to set up a live note. Bam. Oh, you can't even see it. Okay. Text nothing. That should work. Okay. Perfect. You didn't even see it. I just added a new layer here. But like a text layer on my OBS, but since it has no text, it's a note for me, but you can't see it. Perfect, flawless. Okay, let's see this. You don't need to send me a friend request. You can just send. Oh, did you send it through? No, you can. I think. Oh, yeah, through the link you should have joined. And then you can click on my name and just DM me instead of sending a friend request. I think you don't need to. Yeah, you don't need to be friends to chat. And then you can just send a DM. Okay. Yeah, nice. The music has finally been completed. So the last little bit that is missing are the last few visuals. Let's listen to the music real quick just to fully immerse ourselves and make sure that it sounds good, and then we can get into the final few minutes of visuals. And if you want to get some deeper insights into how to improve your own 3D anime scenes, make sure to check out my newsletter where I share all tips and tricks that I learned during these projects. Oftentimes I come across info that I've never seen explained anywhere else, and in this newsletter I can share that stuff in more depth than I ever could in a video like this. Click the first link in the description and check out some of my previous posts. I bet you'll learn something new.
And now, to add that last bit of manual spice, I can edit and draw over the scene with a new grease pencil layer. I used this technique in my Spirited Away project where it basically fixed my horrendous model of the hero, and now here it allows me to add the last bit of refinement to make it look as good as possible. Well, before compositing, of course. To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in 3 layers: the background, colors, and line art. This makes it much easier to adjust specific parts of the final result, like adding a glow to the bright areas or adding a slight gradient between the shadows and highlights. I've played around with a few different techniques between all of these, so the final look isn't fully determined yet, but it looks somewhat similar to this. Last time I created the characters, environment, VFX, animation, and sound design all in one video. I think because of that, the end result was a bit lacking. This time I'm gonna split up the project into 2 parts. Deadpool obviously needs someone to fight, so I also created Wolverine already, which means that we have the characters and a concept for the final look. In the next video, we'll cover the environment, VFX, and obviously the animation itself. Until then, make sure to check out my newsletter with the first link in the description and watch this video next.
Okay, that sounds horrendous. Why does the end sound so weird? I think it's a quick too. It ends too quickly. Hold on, we're almost there. We're almost there. Maybe I can do something else. Trick 5. Okay, hold on. What if I just push this over here and just make this... Wait. Oh. That already works. Nice. Problem solved. Easy. I just needed to find a better spot to cut it at. Nice. There you go. Message request. I got it. Okay. There you go. Okay. Here you go. Okay, I'm guessing any feedback is good. Or do you want to get feedback on anything specific? Let me know, and then we can start watching. Let me see one more thing. I think maybe because this section, hold on, as good as possible. Well, before compositing. Since this is a very reverby sound here, it's kind of weird how it just ends. So what I probably want to do is add a slight reverb here, but that shouldn't take too long. Right here somewhere. Pretty easy to do. Just go in here and cut off the, oops, cut off the sound right here. Oh, wrong sound bar. Okay, there you go. And then you can just duplicate this, change it into like a normal, into a compound clip, and then reverb. There you go. And then listen to this. If I change it to my long drawn out preset, let's mute everything else. Just listen to it better. Yeah, see how it has this nice little ending right there, this nice reverb. I think that just makes it a tiny bit smoother and helps with the transition. Yeah. Let's listen to it before and after. I actually can't do that because no, I can. Hold on. The before. Okay, and then after. Very, very tiny change, but I might be the only one that will ever notice this. And if that's the case, then I will still be happy, but I know that because I know that I have changed it to sound better, okay? There you go. Good, nice. So, what is this? Hold on. Did I change the... Oh, hold on. Okay, I just messed something up, but I fixed it. Okay, perfect. Now the music is perfect. So now all that's left is the visuals. Didn't know this guy was handsome as fuck. Thank you, Barrel Man. I'll be waiting for the new video. Gotta go. Okay. Yeah. Have a good day. Mostly need feedback on storytelling and smoothness of the video. Okay. Use tissues coming in and out of the stream like like whatever. Like viewbot messages. There you go. Okay, let me check it out. Hold on. So just general smoothness and okay, I'm gonna give you everything I got, okay? Maybe not, we'll see. Actually, yeah, we have some time, so we may be able to go through the whole thing. Let's see.
Blender projects can take a lot of time, so in this video you'll learn the most important hotkeys to speed up your workflow.
Okay. Okay, yeah, one thing I like
launch Blender
is the quick intro. So here's the thing. So here's something, let me bring in some music because this is quite a bit depressing. Look at that, already better. Okay. Oh, we have also, let me switch to some, wait, do we have smooth music? Let me see if we can find some, actually no, I don't want to mess around with this too much now. But, so, actually no, we can, never mind. When I speak, we can listen to music, and then since I want to listen to the music you've used, we're gonna switch it off again. But, so here's something that is really weird about intros, okay? When you watch any videos about how to improve your, how to do better YouTube videos, it always talks about like, hey, create short and succinct intros, which is correct, but there's quite a bit of nuance to an intro. Here's, I think the best way I can for myself summarize what the intro is supposed to be. I heard that from a video. I heard that in a video from Hayden Hillier-Smith. He made a video about, I think it was in one of his videos he has an editing podcast too. I think it's just called the Editing Podcast. Either in there or in an interview with him, where he talks about the intro. And what he said, I think it was him, was the intro for a video is supposed to kind of be like the trailer for a movie. So the intro is kind of, so when you think about a trailer, for example, for a Marvel movie, for like, okay, the Avengers Endgame, okay? What you probably want to see in there is all the heroes that are supposed to appear, the villain, and then some cool shots of what is about to happen, like the story, some cool action moments, so you get a feeling for what you can expect in the movie. And the intro is kind of the same for a YouTube video. But I think you can see that quite a bit for my videos recently, where I kind of have like, I explain what I want to do in this video, and then afterwards I have like this quick compilation before it goes into the actual movie. And the idea is basically, so everybody sees the intro. So what you need to do basically is sell the videos that is about to come in the best way possible and in the easiest way possible. So you don't want to go into too much jargon. You don't want to go into too much weird vocabulary or whatever. You just want to explain to, so that everybody can understand what this video is about, and tease maybe even what is about to come, so people are excited for what you're about to show. I think for this intro is kind of similar to how I did it at some point, or I always heard like, oh, intros need to be short, intros need to be short, so people don't leave during the intro because it's easy. Like some people really make very, very long intros, and you then oftentimes hear people say make your intro shorter, because otherwise people will leave before you even get into the video, really, because if you have such a long intro. With long, I mean like a minute to, or yeah, like a minute to like 3-minute intros. Like intros are supposed to be there to bring you into the video and not to explain what is about to happen. They're supposed to give you like a taste, I guess. And I think this intro, this intro.
Blender projects can take a lot of time, so in this video you'll learn the most important hotkeys to speed up your workflow.
Yeah. It's nice. It's succinct and nice. I think what you can add here is a little bit of a teaser. For example, like
In this video you'll learn the most important hotkeys.
In this video you'll learn not only how to do this and this and that, how to speed up your workflow by 50% by doing this and this and that, but also the secret trick that I've discovered myself at the end of the video. And then you get into it to kind of give the people an idea of what they can expect, and also give them like a motivation to watch more than they might expect it, I guess, to want to watch when they clicked on the video, just to give them a bit more incentive, I guess.
Blender projects can take a lot of time, so in this video you'll learn the most important hotkeys.
Also, something that can happen sometimes is what would you call it? You can sometimes info dump a bit too early. So when you, for example, click a video, you have like this very short period where people just kind of need to get into the video. It's kind of like, yeah, whenever you click a video and then you hear like immediate, I guess, an immediate info dump, it can be a bit too much. But so what I try to do, for example, is to kind of ease into the amount of info that I give away. When I talked about just a second ago about info dumping right at the beginning, I kind of thought of Mr. Beast. I think what he does is he immediately gets into talking about the things, but what he does is he gives you an impression of what is in the video first. So what he oftentimes does is, for example, with the video where he crashes the Lamborghini under a, what is it called, like a press. He says, this is a Lamborghini, and then he shows the Lamborghini, and this is a press, and this press is going to destroy the Lamborghini. It's very, very simple info, and it's very easy for people to understand that and get into the video, rather than saying like, this press is going to destroy this Lamborghini in the next 5 seconds. Then you're all like, wait, this Lamborghini and press, and okay, so that's about to happen. If you stack it a bit slower, it is a bit easier to get into the video, not get overwhelmed immediately by all the things that are about to that are being thrown at you. So for example, what I like to do is create a very captivating visual for the beginning of the video. That has a few more reasons why I do that, but one of the reasons is just to give you like this exciting, cool thing to look at before I fully go into the info. So for example, for this one, oh, it's not even visible because the effects just don't, oh, there you go. So this is kind of the visual for this video. The Deadpool kind of hidden underneath the shadows. And I kind of talk about what I want to do here. I think I say like, oh, creating a Deadpool anime. Kind of just repeating what the intro or the title is. Just to kind of confirm that what people expect is in this video. And then, yeah, so what you could do here, instead of showing the Blender logo, is maybe just like a list, although that could be a bit too much in the beginning. I think this actually is fine. But maybe just kind of slowing down the info dump in the beginning just a tiny bit, and kind of you can give your intro a bit more time. I found 30 seconds, if you stay within 30 seconds, you have enough time to, that is, long enough. You can take that long to do the intro. I think this intro is like 8
Blender
seconds.
projects can take a lot of time, so in this video you'll learn the most important hotkeys to speed up your workflow. Let's launch.
Yeah, it's like 6 seconds. So you can give yourself a little bit more time also to tease the thing a bit, to tease the video, and give the people, intrigue about what is about to happen. Okay.
Blender and press Ctrl and comma to open the preferences window, and from there I'll go to the add-ons and enable the node wrangler, which will come in handy later. Close that window and press A to select everything and then X to delete it. Then press Shift plus A to open a menu and just add a cube. You can select it in the menu or start typing the name and it will show up automatically.
Okay.
You can also add the modifiers and nodes in the same way, but there is an even easier way to add subdivision surface. Select your object and press Ctrl and the number of subdivision level you want, and it will be added to your selected object.
Okay, so one thing I wonder is this thing, the little number here. I think this is supposed to represent each tip and then how long the tip is going to last. It feels a bit like not in a bad way, like how you like brain rot like shorts where you have like the Subway servers on the bottom and then the video on the top. Not in a bad way, but just like this like making sure that the person has always something to has always something to focus on, something new or something interesting. And this is kind of, I'm guessing kind of supposed to show like, oh, how long this tip is going to stay here, how long it is until the next tip. I find it a bit too distracting, but maybe also only because it isn't necessarily explained. So it's hard to, I just thought like, oh, what's this down there?
And press A to select everything and then X to delete it.
Oh, wait, is it even is it even for the tip? Is it even for the...
handy later. Close that window and press A to select everything.
Oh, so A is the first shortcut and the second shortcut that you want to show off here, and then X is the third?
To delete it. Then press...
Either way, so this...
Close that window.
I think you can use stuff like indicators to how long how long a step is still lasting. I think you can use that, but I think you need to give it a bit more time and also maybe explain why it is there. Either give it more time. So sometimes in ads, for example, in YouTube videos, you see this bar that people use to show how long the ad is still lasting. If it, I think, stays for long enough, you can kind of think, okay, this is probably a progress bar, like, oh, when is the ad over? Maybe you can even add like, ad over in ... to kind of show what it's supposed to be. I think here I was, when I watched it, a bit confused about what this is at first, and kind of this drew away the attention from the video. I think you don't actually need it here since the tips are so short. You probably don't need this right here. Maybe the tips get longer as we go, but right now, it feels a bit too much. You can also probably just make the number a bit smaller, but that's just kind of like a small thing. Something that I like though, that I sometimes also have discussed with other people, is the focus on what you're talking about. Since the Blender UI is so cluttered, let's call it, or so there's so much on the screen for the Blender UI that it's often hard for beginners or somebody that just watches the video to really know what you're talking about. So what I often like to do is just zoom in to the thing that I'm talking about. Like, for example, I'm zooming, if I talk about the modifier, I zoom into the modifier tab right here. Or if if there's something going on here, I like to remove like all of this stuff, so these things are not distracting from the main thing that I'm talking about in the middle. And it seems like you've wanted to do that here with the
and press A to select
with these zoom ins.
everything and then X to delete it. Then press Shift+A to open a menu and just add a cube. You can select it in the menu or start typing the name and it will show up automatically. You can also add the modifiers and nodes in the same way, but there is an even easier way to add subdivision surface. Select your object and press Ctrl and the number of subdivision level you want, and it will be added to your selected object.
Something that I think is important is is when you have steps in a video, to make sure that the people know at what step you're at and to reward them for reward them for watching or finishing a step. So if you have, like, of course 60, that might be a bit too much. Is it 60? I think so. No, even more than 60. If you have 60 steps, it might be a bit different, but I think it's important when you have steps to reward people for, it's kind of feel like to make people feel rewarded for watching a tip. So if I, for example, have only 3 steps, what I like to do is either have like a list of these 3 steps, and then when one step is done, I like to, like, for example, scratch it off or just show that it's done and then move on to the next, to give that people that feeling of progression and like, oh, we finished this one, now on to the next thing. That is like a small thing you can do to keep people watching a bit longer, because they get this impression of like progress, and they're moving on. If the video is just glossing over the fact that you just moved on to the next step, it can very easily feel like nothing has really changed, because everything feels like it's part of the same thing, and you don't feel the progression as much, and then you might be more inclined to switch to either switch off or just, I don't know, skip ahead or whatever. And yeah.
Press Ctrl and the number of subdivision level you want.
So here what you could do, for example, is maybe give like a little ding or whatever just when you finish a tip, for example. Or what you could also do is,
you can also add the modifiers and nodes in the same way, but there is an even easier way.
Yeah, find a way to separate the steps a bit better into multiple, like, make it easy to see that the step is done and the next one is going. This, at least in the beginning, it feels like it's like a more like a countdown, because it goes by so fast.
Go and press A to select everything, and then X to delete it.
Yeah, I think it's important when you have steps to really make sure that people know
A to open a menu
on which step they are and what, and give them like this reward of finishing it when the step is over.
A cube. You can select it in the menu or start typing the name and it will show up automatically. You can also add the modifiers and nodes in the same way, but there is an even easier way to...
Oh, one more thing that I wanted to talk about in the beginning is the music. I always try, and I think it's good to do, to use driving music in the beginning. So music that is very... that gives you motivation. Not necessarily in a way where you would want to work out, but it just kind of has like a good beat to it. Let's go through some of my music to kind of see if we can find something that could work here. So you can either, for example, go with beats. That's what I've done in the beginning, to kind of give you like a good driving song like this, maybe. I don't know. Okay, that's a bit chill. Hold on. Let's go through a few and see if we can find something. So this is more chill. This could be like in the middle, for example. Let's see, what about this? Nope. This one could work, for example. See, like this, it kind of gives you like this forward driving motion. Or this one might be a bit extreme. If you don't like this kind of style, you can also go with something different. As long as maybe the BPM is like, you have some like a nice beat that can drive you forward. This one is also quite slow. All of these are quite slow. Let's see if we can find something. This one's also nice. Just kind of give you like, just to kind of get you in the mood of let's get this going. Let's get this video rolling. Welcome Nico Lade. I do work with Blender. How can I use the same armature for multiple parts? Do you mean parts in terms of for multiple objects, or the same armature, parts of armature for different armatures? Welcome Promo Momo. Hope you have a good day. So yeah, in the beginning I like to use more driving songs. For this, for example, for this video, I've used this right here. I tried something a bit different here because it fit for the look quite well. Here you go. So this is a bit more chill, but it also is more chill because it's a more, I guess I just wanted to try something a bit different. And what I wanted to try here is to create anticipation for, so, you know, we talked about the intro of the video is kind of like the teaser for the rest of the video. So what I wanted to try here is to see if I use a song that sounds like there's something big coming soon, if that changes something in people's, I guess, in how people watch it. So this video, I mean, this song is all about like creating anticipation. Oh, it's about to come, it's about to come, it's about to come. And then when the video starts, that's when the video really, I mean, when the song really begins. So this is kind of like a chill beginning. And then slowly but surely more and more of the song comes in. And it gets louder and louder, and then slowly you see here the drum comes in, gives you a bit more drive. It gets brighter and brighter, less muffled, and then at this point the video begins. And this is where the actual video begins. So what I wanted to, with this video I wanted to try a bit more of a like an anticipatory intro. But I think at the beginning especially, or usually it's better to just start with a driving song, I guess. Okay. The same armature for multiple objects. For example, each bone controls a different part. Yeah, you can. So here's a very simple way you can do it. So you can, for example, parent objects to one bone. So for example, if you have a finger made out of 3 separate objects, you can, for example, so, you know, if one object is here, you can parent this object to this bone right here, this object to this bone right here. You can then have this second object parent to this bone, and then the third object parent to this bone. Or you can just use weight painting to apply all of them real quick. So if you have a single bone, for example, or let's do this, okay. And then you also have a cube. Oh, there you go. We have 3 cubes, for example. And you want to parent these. Okay, you want this armature, each bone to change one of these cubes. One way you can do it, if you want to, you can select the cube, select the armature, go into pose mode, select the bone that is supposed to move this cube, and then press Ctrl P, set parent to bone. This basically, yeah, just parents this cube to this bone, so it just moves like this. You can also go, instead of doing all that, you can go into the object settings, I think it is. Under relations, you see parent. Here you can select, for example, if we do it this way, you can select the armature with this picker, and then parent type bone, and then you can select the bone, which I think is this one. But the problem with that one is that I think, I don't know what it did there, so it might be better to do it with the hotkey way. The other way you can do it is by, for example, if you know which bone is supposed to control this cube, you can go in here into the bones, select that bone that you want that cube to control, go to the bone settings. Oh, yeah, you can see it, the bone settings. Control C, the name. Go out of this again, and then in the object that is supposed to be controlled by the armature, go into the data settings or vertex, whatever, vertex groups. Make a new group, call that the bone's name, and then in edit mode, just say select everything and assign. So the full all vertices are assigned to this vertex group. And then you can go here, select the cube, select the armature, and then Control P, armature deform. And I think now we get on this cube a new modifier which says armature. And this armature only affects, of course, this cube has only one vertex group, which is this bone right here, which means that this armature looks at the vertex groups that this box has, which is only this bone. Okay, is there a bone that has the same name? Yes, it is. Yes, there is. So the armature makes it so that when this bone moves, this cube moves as well. So you can either use the armature modifier or you can parent an object to a specific bone. Yeah. Okay. Now back to this.
Blender projects can take a lot.
Right, hold on. Where were we? Somewhere here. Right there.
Those rules also apply for the scale and rotation. You can also snap it by holding Control, enable precision mode by holding Shift, or you could combine both and you will get a precise snapping to the grid.
I've never used the snapping tool. Wait, can you actually really just
Also apply
press Control to snap it? Hold on. I've never used it in my life. Oh, maybe for me it's different. I know Shift. I use Shift sometimes, but I don't use Control. Maybe there's a way to enable it, but whatever.
for the scale and rotation. You can also snap it by holding Control, enable precision mode by holding Shift, or you could combine both and you will get a precise snapping to the grid. There are also other ways of transforming objects in Blender, for example rotation. If you want to rotate your object, just select it and press R, and if you want to rotate it freely, press R once again. If you hold Control while rotating, you will be rotating it for 5 degrees at a time. To scale your object, just press.
Here's something you can do to make the to make each step a bit different. It will take a bit more time to do, but it will, I think, help, is to create a new scene for each object, for each tip, or for the tips at least that makes sense. So for example, there's a video by, what's his name? Hold on, let me pull it up. It was 40 tips I learned at 40 or something like that. 40 tips I needed at 25, something like that. How is it that hard to find this video? Is this one? No. Basically what it was is something like, oh, I'm 40 and here are 40 tips I would have loved to have at 25. And what they did there is for every tip, they changed location. So in one tip, they were in their living room. For another tip, they were in the bedroom. In another tip, they were in like walking around in a park. Sometimes the shots, the locations, of course, were repeating, but it was never like they stayed in the same location for each tip. I think that helps visualize that there's a new step that you're now talking about. For this, for example, what you could do is either just change the model or change the scene. Maybe you have a scene where you can show this, what you're explaining here. Maybe you can change the object. Maybe you have Suzanne in one, and then you have, I don't know, the cube in another, just to kind of visualize the different steps that you're actually changing steps. Of course, if it's something like, oh, this is what rotation does, this is what moving does, this is what whatever does, and it's all kind of in the same vein, you can probably put them together in one. But I think this is another way you can visualize and give people like the satisfaction of progress by going through these tips.
Control while rotating, you will be rotating it for 5 degrees at a time. To scale your object, just press S, and you can also hold Control to enable snapping and Shift to scale it precisely. If you want to reset the scale, rotation or position, just press Alt S for scale, Alt R for rotation, or Alt G for position. Once you transform your objects, you can press Ctrl and A, which will open up a menu from which you can choose the transform you want to apply. If you want to turn on snapping so you don't need to hold control, just press Shift and Tab, and if you want to change any other settings, you can access them in the drop-down menu. Right next to the drop-down menu, there is the pivot point menu, which you can access by holding the dot key on your keyboard.
Also, something that is important is pacing. What I mean by that is Mark Manson, he has tips. Oh, he has videos like that. Let's see if one of his is like that. I think so. Something that can also happen is that you can overwhelm someone. Mark Manson tips. 6 things I wish I knew in my 20s. Is there another one? Let's go with, hold on, tips I knew in my 20s. I can't find the, oh. One of the. Never mind, I thought I found the person that I was talking about. Wait. Okay, let's see if this one's the right one. Mark Manson.
Hey, why does it?
Why does it? I don't know. Let's see. Here, he starts with this scene, okay? And then he switches location. I think that's his main talking location. But, of course I can't, hold on, let me enable subtitles, okay. I think this is still the intro. Looking back at, you know, blah, blah, blah. Carrying wrong people, same mistakes. Okay. This is something good you can do. Giving people a plan for this video. What this gives people is not only an idea of what they can expect, but you can also bring this back up and fill these things, as he is probably about to do. There you go. To give them a sense of progress. Oh, this is already done, so this will probably come next. Oh, this is done, this will probably come next. Oh, this is done, we're probably almost at the end. Yeah, this is a very simple way, creating a list to create, I guess, keep people watching for longer. I guess in this video, what he does is more use stock photos to vary the visuals. He's still staying in the same location. He's just using visuals to make it a bit more interesting. Yeah, I just can't find the video that I'm thinking about, but I think you get what I mean. Just kind of, varying the visuals between steps can help.
Which will open this circular selection in which you can...
Oh, and then here, since you want to cover 60 things in 8 minutes, let me check. 60 divided by 8, 7.5 things per minute, which would be 60 divided by 7.5 is 8. So you have 8 seconds for each tip. If you speak, if you have a new tip each 8 seconds, I feel like that can overwhelm quickly. I see what you wanted to do here with the in 8 minutes. It can be a good draw to a video. I think what you have to be aware of is that it can be very overwhelming if you just get tip over tip over tip over tip over tip over tip, and it's hard at some point to take in more. One way I try to kind of resolve that is to sometimes include sections where I just don't talk. So sometimes I just have like these long sections of explaining something, and then I just want to give, like here for example, I just want to give like a few seconds to just kind of relax and take everything and give the people like this short time where they just don't have to take in new info, but can just, just kind of, what's the name for it? They can take everything in and kind of go through it in their mind before and get ready for new info.
to hide the
Yeah, so here, for
pixelated
example-
texture edges. The line art lines just cover them, so you can't even see them. And now the model is ready to do some test renders to see what a final result could look like. And this is also where the last technique comes into play that turns Deadpool's look from good to great.
Kiss me in the rain tonight. I'm here at the borderline.
So this small gap is quite short. How many seconds? Like 5 or so? 6:33. So 6 seconds. But what this, what I want to achieve with this is, okay, I just learned all of these things about this previous section, and now we get to this new section where I kind of want to just show you some cool shots of this new section. Like, oh, you know, we've just gone through this, but here, look at this. Now we have this new section about compositing and how you can spice up your images even more. And in this section, all I want to do is show some cool teaser shots of what is about to happen to give people a short time without any voiceover that allows them to think for themselves, I guess, to have time to think and just kind of take in the visuals so they can get ready and, you know, excited for the next bit. Or another example is a bit further in, I mean, earlier, maybe here.
Imperfectness,
Is it here?
sharper shadows, which was
Yes. So here, for example, what I like to do is have these small compilation bits in between, which serve kind of the same purpose, where I talk about like a lot of stuff, like a little bit of info, and then at some point I want to give like a short impression gap, I guess, where people can kind of think about what I just said, and I show them what I just said. Like here, for
to
example.
create a more... Each body part is made up of clear lines that imitate what you would see in drawings to create a more distinct and stylized silhouette. This won't...
And then I continue talking. So these are just kind of like, small gaps to kind of give people a little bit room to breathe, I guess. If you have like 60, if you have each 8 seconds any tip, it can quickly become overwhelming. And oftentimes people, if they get overwhelmed, then they either pause the video or just stop watching because they can't take in anymore. And why you want to give them room to breathe, or what they probably will do when they, for example, get overwhelmed, is they disconnect from the video for a second, maybe check the recommended to see, oh, what do we find here, right? And then maybe they see another video that is interesting and click on that one because they feel overwhelmed with this one. So that's kind of the thing that could result from that. Human brain cannot process a large amount of information so quickly. Yeah, that's why at least for me, school was always horrible, because you just get like info for like 45 minutes straight, and then you get like 5 minutes to progress it, or like 50. I don't even know how long the short break was, but you get some time to, you know, to just chill a bit, and then it goes back to info. It's important to have room for internalization, I guess.
You can choose from different pivot point settings. The same goes for orientations, which you can access.
Here's a small hack that you can do for your microphone. It doesn't sound bad at all, but what I often discover from my microphone, because it captures the bright points, or like the bright sounds of my voice very, very well, is that the S sounds are very sharp when you listen to it. I don't know if I can find it here.
I've played around with a few different techniques between all of these, so the final look isn't...
That's maybe this one here.
Techniques
So if we go in here and we listen to the voiceover only.
between all of these, so the final look isn't fully determined yet. Played around with a few different techniques between all of these, so the final look isn't fully...
Isn't that bad, but...
The final look isn't fully...
Let's look
different
at
techniques between...
techniques. Okay, let's see if we can find something a little bit better.
Low to the bright areas, or adding a slight gradient.
A slide,
or adding
that sounds good. Okay, so what I like to do is just add a quick effect called the de-esser. This thing looks at where the S sounds usually lie on the I don't know, frequency scale or whatever, and tones those down. So only the S sounds get quieter. This, softens them a bit and makes it a bit easier to listen to. So if we deactivate that,
like adding a glow to the bright areas or adding a slight gradient, like adding a glow to the bright areas or adding a slight gradient, adding a slight gradient.
Okay, here it doesn't actually change too much, but if we ramp that up like a lot, if we keep this in mind, 7.03. Oh, not this one. This one, amount.
Okay. Adding a slight gradient. Adding a slight.
Maybe this is actually not being affected here.
Adding a slight gradient.
Okay, this is not affected. Bad example. But it just makes the S sounds a bit softer, and yeah, make sure that they're not too harsh.
Access by holding the comma key, and you will be getting a similar circular selection.
Similar circular selection. Yeah, this in that section, for example, it could help.
Which you can access by holding the comma key, and you will be getting a similar circular selection. Lastly, if you want to zoom into your object,
I don't even know if I have an S de-esser on my stream. Maybe you hear like really bad S sounds right now, but hopefully not.
Press the number pad comma and you'll get right there. And now it's time for edit mode, which you can enter either by pressing Ctrl and Tab. And
okay, yeah, this is a good way to separate the pieces, or like the sections. What you could do, for example, is since you have like a what you can do for videos is, since if you have like a lot of tips, for example, is even group those tips into big sections so that you don't have a list of like 60 tips, but rather, oh, we have 60 tips, but they're separated into object mode, edit mode, shader mode, and whatever modes. This also can make it easier to for people to keep track. And instead of saying, oh, now we're at step 25, now we're at step 26, now we're at step 27, you could rather do, oh, we're in edit mode, now we're in edit mode, and
get
then
the same circular
do this, and now we're in object mode, and now we're in this. You can also have too many things to keep track of as a viewer. So grouping it can be a good way to make it easier for them. Also, if you do group these things, I think it's important to show in the beginning the groups, just so people have an idea of what is about to come. So, for example, here you've introduced this new way of presenting, where you go into edit mode, which is a good, it's good to separate. But now that you say, oh, we're going to edit mode,
either by pressing Ctrl and Tab.
It kind of makes me think, okay, now are we like all the next tips are going to be about edit mode? Is only this tip about edit mode? I think if you give them in the beginning a list of all the sections, for example, or all the categories of tips, it can remove like these questions that can trip people up when they watch the video.
Tab, and you'll get the same circular selection again, or you can just press Tab and you'll instantly enter the...
What I like though is the music change. Another good way to symbolize or to signal the step change, I guess.
Edit mode from any other mode. Pressing Ctrl and Tab also works in the timeline and allows you to switch between graph editor and normal timeline. Alright, so now that we're in edit mode, let's check out the tools available. Just like before, you have the move, rotate and scale tools, which have the same hotkeys, but there is one important difference. If you perform a transform in edit mode, it will be instantly applied. But don't worry about that, because if you mess up, you can press Ctrl and Z to undo and Ctrl Shift Z to redo.
Okay, here's the thing that I like to do, and I think it's a good rule. If you say something, you should also show it. That makes it easier to keep it, to also, once again, internalize it for people. So if you, for example, explain a graph and you don't show it, it's harder to understand than if you just show the graph as well and you explain, what you're talking about. Same with describing an image, for example. And what I always try to do is whenever I explain something, I try to also show that visually. Here, for example, since you have quite a long time here, for example, where you just, show the cube, what you could do is maybe visualize what it would be, or visualize this permanence of the edit mode changes. Could be a bit harder to do, but I think it could be a good idea here.
In edit mode, it will be instantly applied.
It's a good idea to do to, once again, not overwhelm.
But don't worry about that, because if you mess up, you can press Ctrl and Z to undo and Ctrl Shift Z to redo. Now let's begin with tools. Pressing E, you can extrude a vertex, edge or a face in any direction you want, but it gets better. If you hold Ctrl and right click, your selection will be extruded to the cursor, and it's still...
I've never used this in my life. I don't know, it just feels very, very wonky, since you can't control the depth, so it's hard to really determine where it goes. But maybe other people like to use this. Maybe even just like as a layout tool. I just never have used it. Honestly, I also just forgot that this exists because I've never used it.
doesn't end here. By pressing...
Okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll go probably through a little bit more of this, and then we'll get back to editing. Yeah, so you can rewatch it later. Yeah, okay.
Alt-E, you can open a pop-up window with different extrude options. Then if you press I, you can inset one or multiple faces, and you can also adjust the depth by holding and moving your mouse.
Something also important to keep in mind is what audience this video is supposed to be for. So I heard an argument before, which I thought was compelling, for why you shouldn't zoom in to the thing that you're talking about. Not all the time, for example. Which was because beginners, for example, if you make a video for beginners, they don't really know yet all the different landmarks of the UI. So when you zoom into something, they could get lost and don't really know what you're talking about or where you are on the screen right now. So if you keep the UI, all the UI elements in the screen, it's easier for them to see where you are. That was an argument that I found interesting for why you would, for example, keep not zoom in for when you're explaining a certain thing. So depending on who you're talking to and who the video is supposed to address, I guess, can also change how you edit.
Open a pop-up window with different extrude options. Then if you press I, you can inset one or multiple faces, and you can also adjust the depth by holding and moving your mouse. When you finish and left click with your mouse, a pop-up screen that contains all the inset settings will show up in the left corner for you to adjust your inset even further. Next up, we have bevel, which you can activate by pressing Ctrl and B. By scrolling your mouse wheel, you can add or remove segments and confirm the bevel by left clicking. When you do that, you'll get another pop-up screen in the left corner in which...
I've also never used these these screens. I don't know why, they just feel... It always feels like the when I finish the action, I'm just done with the action, and I don't... this feels like it comes up too late. But maybe...
you can change
I'm just
all
weird
the beveling settings. Then there is the loop cut. If you press Ctrl R, it adds a new loop cut to your object. In the pop-up menu, you can adjust the number of cuts, smoothness, and some other settings. Similar to the loop cut is the knife tool, which can be toggled.
Wait, I'm curious about something. Hold on. Oh, okay. So, if we go in here and we put a cut in here, okay, we get this box. When we can increase the number of cuts. Okay, so here's the question. What happens if I put the cut... Oh, hello. Why is my mouse so weird? If I put the cut over here. Oh, wait, what? How does that work? I put the cut in here, but then it still changes it to... and then it moves it over. That's weird. I would expect it to do this. So I would expect it to if I move it over there, to then, if I increase the number of cuts, to add like this. I don't know. Weird. That's why I don't use the box. Okay.
Toggled on by pressing K, and you will get a knife that allows you to connect vertices and edges. To use it, you just need to left click and drag it to another vertex or edge, and if you hold shift, it will lock to the center of an edge. Finally, to confirm your cut, just press enter. To select between vertices, edges, and faces, you can press 1, 2, and 3 to switch between different selection modes. If you want to merge vertices, you can press M and you'll get a menu from which you can choose your merge. All these tools are very useful, and to access them faster, you can press Shift and Spacebar to open yet another pop-up window where you have all the tools and...
I've never seen that box in my life. Hold on. Oh, Shift and Space for me is to play the to play the timeline. I think you determine that in the settings, right? Hold on. How do you get the splash screen to show up? Wasn't it in preferences and then splash screen? There it is, splash screen. But there's a way to open the splash screen. I just forgot how to do it. I think you can determine in the splash screen some hotkeys, and you can set the play timeline, I think, there to shift spacebar. So I don't even know how I open this box now. That's also something, that's one reason why I never liked creating tutorials, because there's always so many variables that can change people's experiences. So for me, for example, I say, hey, use spacebar to open the search box. But that is something you change in the what's it called? In the splash screen. It's not like I never liked creating tutorials. It was just like one of those annoying things that you had to keep in mind. Like, oh, use spacebar or whatever you've determined in the splash screen. You probably don't even remember. I think the default is like F3 or something. Yeah, there's like so many variables sometimes that it's hard to keep track of all of them. And then you miss one, and then that one comment telling you about it comes up. Welcome, Ilyamu. Hope you have a good day. Shortcut, you mean? Yeah.
Their hotkeys, and you can also navigate through
I've never seen this box in my life. I don't even know how you pull that up. Is that an add-on? I am the beginner here. I don't know how to do this.
using the scroll wheel.
Yeah.
On top of that, this hotkey
Wait, is that a... No, it's not.
works in every single one of the 6 modes. So yeah, that's pretty cool, but you can also execute pretty much every Blender command by pressing F3, which will open up a search bar.
Oh, there you go,
where you can
F3.
just write the command
Nope, for me it's spacebar.
down and hit enter to confirm it.
Also, quick tip, what I really found really useful. They've added recently, I think, the function that what you type in there doesn't have to be perfect. So how I like to abuse that technique, or that feature, is if I am in a shader, for example, you can, it's especially useful for geometry nodes, but even here, for a shader, for example, you press your search box, and if you, for example, need a brightness, contrast, what's it called? Hue, brightness, whatever, you can just type in, I guess you could just type in hue, or, hue saturation value. What you can also do is just HSV, and it pulls up hue saturation value, because it basically looks at all the letters you typed, and then it has I think it has a hierarchy of things that it considers to find the best match. Since it has HSV in here, it pulls up, it looks at, which search results, or which elements have these 3 letters. If I, for example, if there was another one that also has HSV in them, it would probably pop up here too. What about color? Copy color, invert color, so you can see if I put up only color, it pulls up all of these things. But batch rename, what are these even? Combine color, separate color. But then if you, for example, want to find separate color, you can just type in SECO to find separate color like this, or mix color, mix, I guess you could say. But no, what is this? Oh, wait, what even is this? Mix? I've never seen this in my life. How this is really useful is for the geometry nodes. There's a node called store named attributes, and how I like to open it up is just like SNAA, SNA, and then it comes up because it is SN attribute. I don't even know why it is 2A. Oh, because named, store named attribute. So you can kind of abuse that thing to just write some really short thing to find what you're looking for.
Now let's get back to the edit mode. There are many ways to select faces, edges and vertices. You could just click every single one by hand, or you can press C to get the circle select tool and hold left click to select and middle click to deselect elements. You can also select loops by holding Alt and left clicking on an edge of an element you want the selection.
That also doesn't work for me for some reason. For some reason this is also not the case for me. If I do that for myself, bam, Alt, left click doesn't work. I don't know why. I think because I have 3 button mouse enabled maybe. But yeah, another variable to keep in mind.
to go to and select multiple
Qualcomm
loops by
Elite.
holding
Hope you have a
Alt
good
and
day.
Shift and left clicking. Another way is to select a face and Control click on another face. That way
That
Blender
works.
will automatically connect all the elements in the shortest path between the two. The final way we're going to check out is slightly more complicated. Press Shift and G, which will open up a menu from which you can select elements by materials, normals, face regions, air.
Wait, what? Shift and G. Hold on. Oh. Wait. Oh, right. I thought of the L button before, the L hotkey, but that is for select linked, which is slightly different. Select G is actually a good one. I didn't know yet.
Areas and so on. And then there are nodes. You can add them in the same way as you add objects in edit or object mode by pressing Shift A, and then you can just drag a connection out of a node and write which node you want to add to that connection. You can then join those nodes into a group by pressing Ctrl and J and rename the group with F2, but if you decide you don't want it anymore, you can just select it and press X to delete it. It's also possible to join two connections into a dot by holding Shift and right click, dragging over both with your cursor. Similarly, you can delete a connection by holding Ctrl and right click, dragging over it with your cursor. If you want to take a node out of a connection, just hold Alt and drag it out. By pressing O.
Oh, wait. Hold on, that works? I didn't know that. Hold on, because that's the same functionality you have in DaVinci. If you go into edit mode here, into any clip like this one, you have these, you have these nodes, of course, and then if you add a new one, like, I don't know, analog damage, put it in here, you know, it adds the effect, and if you want to get it out of there again, you just press Shift and it's gone. I always wondered if that works in Blender too. Oh, never mind, it doesn't work for me, because when I hold Alt, it just moves the whole thing. So I guess since my 3-button mouse is active, that doesn't work for me. Well, I guess it's good to know that there's something like that, I guess.
You can connect a node to the group output instantly and bypass all the other nodes. Now this next one is my favorite. By holding Shift and Alt and right click dragging to another node, you can...
Yeah, this one I never remember. But it's a cool function.
Easily select where you want to connect your nodes to, or you can just hold Alt and right click drag to another node and it will connect to the first available input. You can also quickly switch between node inputs by selecting the node and pressing Alt and S. If you want to completely reset the node, you can press backspace and all the values will go back to the original ones, or you can just press M and disable the node while still keeping it in the node tree. Now let's hop from geometry nodes to the shading. In your material, you can select the principled BSDF and press Ctrl and T to add an image texture, or you can just press Ctrl Shift and T and the entire material setup will be made for you.
Okay.
If you want to add a mixed shader on top of two shaders, just select them and press Ctrl and 0. And if you want to switch links, you can press Alt.
Okay, I think this, I think the presentation doesn't change too much anymore, so let's go to the end, because I'm curious how the video ends, and then I think we got it.
All animatable options will show up at your cursor. All of our created keyframes have now showed up in the timeline, and to manipulate them even further, you can switch to the graph editor by pressing
The outro can also be an important part of the video.
Ctrl and Tab. Then you can select your keyframes and press T to change their interpolation. And just like with the objects, you can scale, rotate and reposition your keyframes by pressing S, R or G. And for the end, you can save a file by pressing Ctrl and S, open a file by pressing Ctrl and O, render an image by pressing F12, and render an animation by pressing Ctrl and F12. That's it for the video. If you think I've missed any of the important hotkeys, make sure to comment down below. Thanks for watching and goodbye.
Okay, hold on, let me listen to it again.
Render an animation by pressing Ctrl and F12. That's it for the video. If you think I've missed any of the important hotkeys, make sure to comment down below. Thanks for watching and goodbye.
Okay, here's a tip if you do informative videos that can supercharge your video performance. Not like that crazy, but basically what you want to do if you create informative videos is you want to somehow include a teaser, or like you want to create a need at the end of the video that you resolve, like a need in the viewer that you resolve, or that the viewer can resolve by watching another video of yours. So you could say, oh, you know, now that you know all the or whatever, like, oh, but all these shortcuts don't help you if you don't know the secrets to 15 times faster shader node editing or whatever, which you can see right here, and then you can post that video at the end of the in the outro. Also, what you want to do is only include one video so that people don't have a choice. Basically, if people have a choice, they're less likely to choose something. And if you only give them one video and you tell them, watch this video, they are more likely to click on it. It's kind of like, there was like an experiment at some point. It's like it's where if you give them two things, I don't fully remember the experiment, but the result was basically if you give them two options, they're less likely to do anything than if you just give them something, if you just give them one thing that they then just are supposed to do. There was also something different about like the illusion of choice, where if you give them two options, but you kind of already control which one they will choose, they will feel better since they feel like they've made a choice, even though you've kind of made that choice for you and just made it feel like they've made a choice. But that's kind of a different thing. That doesn't really apply to outros, I think. Here's a good example for how you can do that.
So you're a blend.
So Kaizen, I think, does it almost in every video. Let me show you what he does.
If you play piano and you have trouble
Wow, I don't. Okay, so here at the end.
Major thing modifier version, like I've shown before, you can tell the manually beveled part looks much more natural and generally has a better weight to it. Simply put, it feels more real, which in terms of portfolio pieces is always a good thing. And so now you know how to really do bevels.
So now you know whatever you've just learned in this video.
Blender by hand. But that great looking model could use a
But you've learned something new. Congrats. Give them one more feeling of progress and achievement. But
proper light setup. The levels in Blender by hand. But that great looking model could use a proper light setup.
yeah, but you don't have a light setup yet. So
What you think? So make sure to check out this video in which
what's
I'll
this
show
video
you
right here?
everything you need to create better lighting in Blender.
yeah, so that's how you can do it. And this is a simple way to use one video to, boost another video's performance. So when people, for example, enjoyed, that one video, and they feel like they've learned something new, they feel more inclined to watch more of yours. And if you tell them, hey, this one would be perfectly suited for you to watch next, they're more likely to click on it. Yep. And that concludes feedback section. That concludes the feedback session. Hopefully these tips can be helpful. And let's get back to my own video. Oh, not this one. Where's the music? Hold on. Okay. So there's just a little bit more left before all the clips at least are here. So let's see how much more we can fill before the end of the stream.
And now to add that. And now.
Wait, what is... Oh, I muted the sound. Ew.
And now, to add that last bit of manual spice, I can edit and draw over the scene with a new grease pencil layer. I used this technique in my Spirited Away project where it basically fixed my horrendous model of the hero, and now here it allows...
Okay, let me grab the Spirited Away bit first, because why not? I like to listen to the voice, to the sound first, and if I find sections that I know of what I'm gonna put there, I like to do those first. So I know that I'm gonna use a clip of my Spirited Away project there, so why not do that section first? And this one was where I learned about overpainting with the grease pencil. And also using like a little bit more about like texture painting. This was it? No, I don't even remember. I don't really use this tablet that much more, but I thought, I don't remember if I got this tablet for this project. I don't think so. I think I had it before, but I used it a bit more in this one to create visuals for the video. But the problem that I had for this project was that I didn't know about normal editing. So basically, if you look at these shadows here, see how weird it looks? If you would draw these shadows by hand, you wouldn't just have these weird holes here, like here, these weird highlights on the lips and nose and eye. You would just draw this straight line, right? So you can fix that by adjusting the geometry, like the normals of the object, but I didn't know about that yet. So what I resorted to was using the grease pencil to create a layer on top. Like here you can see the normal editing. I actually did it in this video, but just not as good, I guess. I just didn't do it for the head, I think. And what I resorted to was using a layer of grease pencil on top of the rest of the video, so I can fix these issues right here. Not the horrible mouth, but at least the shadows right here, these very, very blocky and weird looking shadows. I can fix those by just using a grease pencil layer. So basically, let's see, I used, let's see, where is it? Here it is. No. Oh, that's the last scene. Where is, oh, here it is. So here you can see what I did. So sometimes the line art would be kind of wobbly. Sometimes the shadows would be kind of weird. And then with the grease pencil, I was able to fix all that by just painting over it and adding these, you know, more clean lines for these sections, to create a more coherent and better looking animation at the end. So you can see now what the mouth looks like, just has perfectly clean shadows, which definitely before was not the case. See how much more I removed here. First I removed only the line art, like right here on the nose or the hair or the eye. And then after I went in and cleaned it up, and then I used the, also used it to clean up the shadows. Of course, this cannot really work if the colors of the animation aren't solid. So if they were gradients, this probably wouldn't work as well, since of course it is you can use gradients on, what is it called, on solid grease pencil, you know, shapes, but getting the getting the gradient perfect so that it doesn't look like you've painted over it is probably very, 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 very hard. It takes a long time. So to avoid that, I just decided to to avoid that, you would have to keep the colors very solid, which of course in this case was the case. So I was able to use this technique. And I also use this technique for my Deadpool video because the shadows there also aren't perfect. I think if you wanted to use gradients, you would probably want to do that after all the grease pencil adjustments, so in post-production. Otherwise it would, it's just very, very hard. I don't even know if you can create a custom gradient for each shape that you draw in the grease pencil, or if each shape has a preset gradient. Either way, you just don't want to do it that way. You just don't want to do it that way. Let's look at this progress bar. Okay. Grab it. No, we're good. I think that's all I need. Oh, where am I? Okay. Yeah, I didn't use that for the Berserk video. Because I think I actually forgot about it. Or I just couldn't use it that well because the shadows weren't as, or the models were more complex. So it would have been taken way more time to use that technique. But for this one now, I can definitely use it. And it definitely helps a lot.
A new grease pencil layer. I use this technique in my Spirited Away project where it basically fixed my horrendous model of the hero, and now here it
Hold on.
this
I think I'm actually gonna remove
my
the
Spirited Away
dragon
project
because it feels kind of off topic.
where it basically fixed my horrendous scenario.
Bam. Oh, it's getting quite warm in here now. Hold on. Okay.
I use this technique in my Spirited Away project where it basically fixed my horrendous model of the hero, and now here it allows me to add the last bit of refinement to make it look as good as possible. Well, before compositing, of course. To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in 3 layers: the background, colors, and line art. This makes it much easier to adjust specific parts of the final result, like adding a glow to the bright areas or adding a slight gradient between the shadows and highlights.
Okay. There's also something new that I did here. Rendering the whole shot in 3 different layers. Just to have more room, or just to have more freedom in how I can composite.
And now, to add that last bit of manual spice, I can edit and draw over the scene with a new grease pencil layer.
Okay. These sections should be easy to find, since I've used them as time lapses in the video before, so they should be marked as pink. Right here, for example. So now I just need a few clips of this. This bit, for example. Yeah, wait, what happened to the music? Hello? Just gone. Wow, that's a quiet song. Okay. Yeah, for this first sketch, I tried a more sketchy look. I found this cool image by someone. I found this cool image on Pinterest that I thought looked really cool and had a really cool style. And I tried to kind of imitate that here as well. It doesn't look exactly like it, but it's not a bad style. I like it, but it's a bit more. I don't think it fits as well for an anime style. It might be more for like a static shot style, like this one. This more sketchy. See, like these sketch lines right here, or on the earrings. It's a bit more sketchy, and you probably wouldn't see this in an anime, but rather in like a static shot like that one. Yeah, so I tried it for this here, and it looked pretty cool. But I think if you would have to draw this for each frame, it would probably look very jittery, and also just not as great. Maybe for like a very action, like a high action shot, it could work well, but not for the whole anime or like for the whole animation. Also, I'm just not that good at drawing that I can imitate the style as well. So it also looks a bit more messy than it probably could be. but you know, it's if I wanted to, I could probably go a bit deeper into the style, but right now I think I want to stick to something a bit cleaner. I think that is also more fitting for the overall style that I want to go for. Oh. Okay. Where do I draw his abs? Trying to find areas to zoom into that are easy to identify. So if I zoom like into here, it might be harder to see what it actually is than if I, for example, go into his abs like this. So I'm trying to find areas that I drew on or over painted that are kind of easier to identify. Maybe this section here. Yeah, okay. Where's the other one? Oh, right here. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, for this one I tried a more clean style with less messy lines, more deliberate lines that kind of, you know, just kind of, I guess, improve the overall look. Yeah, stuff like I shown it yesterday, but like how much this can make, like how much of a difference this can make. See, looking at the hand, for example, how it looks before, kind of weird and kind of, yeah, just kind of undefined. And even just adding a shadow there makes it so much better. Ignoring realistic lighting and making it more stylistic can really help bring this all together and make it look more, I guess, more, yeah, stylized, I guess. Okay, and then one more shot here. Okay. Yeah, I think I'd actually need much more. Just a little bit more. to have some more, you know, choice and select the best ones that I can find. I don't think I've done that many adjustments here. I think that's also better. Having less adjustments makes it easier to, you know, to continue that style, or, you know, continue in a consistent style over multiple frames. If you do a lot of adjustments, it's going to be harder and harder to keep up consistency throughout multiple frames, which can be an issue. Because it can be very distracting if you have too many. Okay. There you go. Perfect. Let's see what we can do here.
And now to add that last bit of a manual spice,
Wait, what is
bet
even
you'll
going on
learn
here?
something new. And now
Oh, okay.
And now to add that last bit of a manual spice. And now to add that last bit of a manual spice.
I'm wondering what I want to fill the beginning with.
And now to add that last bit of a manual spice.
I think something else than just painting.
I can edit and draw over the scene with a edit and draw.
Edit and draw, edit and draw.
I can edit and draw over the scene. I can edit and draw over the scene.
Okay. Let's see. This one is nice. Oops. Let me check how the weather is gonna be over the weekend. There's something that I always need to be aware of right now, which is if there's a lot of rain coming. Oh, very cloudy right now. Very cloudy. If there's a lot of rain coming, oh, there's actually rain coming today. Like a lot of rain, like a storm over our house. We have somebody living above us, which they have a balcony that is basically on top of our living room. And if it rains for long enough, the water kind of pools up and reaches this threshold where it somehow reaches like a crack in the wall or something like that, and just breaks through into the house, into the wall, through the walls to our living room ceilings, and just gets out of the ceiling from there, just drips into our house. So whenever it rains a lot, I always have to check whether there's any any water going through the ceiling. There was somebody was here recently, a few days ago, to check in on that and see what needs to be done to fix that, or just to see to look at the situation, and hopefully they bring someone that can actually fix that. The good thing is that they actually probably don't have to fix anything in our living room or in our home, but rather in our neighbor above us. So I actually don't have to so nobody has to come into our home, but we are the ones affected by it. So I hope they do something about that at some point, because it can be pretty annoying.
With a new grease pencil layer. With a new grease pencil layer. I use this.
This one's a weird one. I don't want to use this. Can I see the other line? Aha. Excuse me. Okay.
With a new grease pencil layer. I used this technique in my Spirited Away project where it basically fixed my horrendous model of Chihiro, and now here it allows me to...
Okay. I want to kind of show a similar looking change on Deadpool that I did on Chihiro. It should be this right here. Yes. Indeed.
Oh, and now here... And now here it allows me to add the last row. And now here it allows me to add the...
Okay. Slowly getting to the end. One clip at a time.
Allows me to add the last bit of refinement. To make the last bit of refinement to make it look as good as possible. Well, before...
I don't actually think I need that many clips of this, so I can be a little bit more lenient in which ones I use. Something also good to do is when you show a certain shot, like this one for example, where I show the hand being filled with shadow, I guess, to afterwards show another shot of the hand as well, where I last bit of draw the knuckles.
The refinement to make it look...
Why? Because then it makes it easier to follow what I'm doing, since you already have like something like an anchor to place your trust in. You know already what I'm drawing on, so it's easier to understand what is changing on.
The last bit of refinement to make... The last bit of refinement...
So since you see that since you've already seen that the hand is getting some shadows, you then will also understand that these lines that are all of a sudden on those hands have probably also been drawn. Oops.
Refinement to make it look as good as possible. Well, to make it look as good...
Oh, okay, there you go.
As good as possible. Well,
okay, might be a bit
the
boring.
last bit of refinement to make it look as good as possible. Well,
I think it's fine.
Before...
Actually, maybe not. Hold on.
I can edit and draw over the scene with a new grease pencil layer. I use
Wait, what did I do here?
the scene with
right.
spies. I can edit and draw over the scene.
I think I want to have 3 clips here.
I can edit and draw... I can edit and draw over the scene with a new
Yeah, like this.
a new grease pencil layer. I
need one more clip right here. One more, just one more. Give me one more. I need it. I need it. This one is nice.
over the scene with a new grease pencil layer. I use this technique in my
Okay, good.
look as good as possible. Well, before compositing, of course.
Thank you. I'm just gonna use a text. Why not? If you don't know what to put in somewhere, just use text. So if you ever see me using text and nothing else, text on plain background, I didn't know what to put there. Actually, I might just use this. This might be easier. Let me frame this.
As good as to make it look at last bit of refinement. the last bit of refinement to make it look as good as possible. Well, before...
And now, text on footage. Oh my god. Before, what was it?
Before compositing, of course.
Oh, so, okay. There you go. Quick trick. If the text looks a bit hard to read on a background, you can just put on a good old drop shadow and it makes it a lot easier. You can also change the shadow strength and drop distance to make it like kind of a dark glow, shadow glow around the object. So it is that's my Discord. Let me change it for a second so you don't get confused. There you go, okay. Yeah, see how much better it is with and without. With changes a slight bit, but it still helps. Bam, easy. Oops, why does it not change? Okay, perfect.
Before... Positive.
Oops. Of course.
Positive.
Perfect.
Well, before compositing, of course. To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in 3 layers.
Big fan, bro. Thank you, Muhammad. Hope you have a good day. Okay, so let's see for this section. So this section is a bit easier because I just kind of need to visualize what I'm talking about, which is a bit easier than trying to find clips to fill in. I guess it's kind of the same, but it's a bit different. It's a bit easier, okay? Trust me. Trust me. First, I just want to show off a shot. This one. How long does it take for you to normally edit? Usually, or sometimes when I... usually, if you, on average, I guess, I finish around 30 to a minute to edit one... No. What? I usually, per day, I usually can edit on average like 30 seconds to a minute per day. So depending on how long a video is, you can kind of calculate, I guess, how long it took to create. And right now, I think it's roughly 10 to 15 days for a video. And I try to speed it up a bit, but sometimes it just takes longer. I'm a VFX artist and I use CGI in my videos, but now I'm trying to make a fully 3D animated video. Would you recommend a YouTube channel to get good with it? To get good with? Welcome, Sundi. Wait, so you want to make a you want to make an animation, a fully 3D animated video? Do you mean you want to do like smaller clips first to get good at it and then create the final animation? Or what do you mean exactly?
Much free as possible.
Okay. So this is only really the shot that I want to show off here.
To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in 3 layers. To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in 3 layers.
Okay. (3D or 2D, which is more time consuming? I think both have their both have their advantages and disadvantages. In 2D, you need to, of course, draw every frame. You need to draw every frame. Yeah, every frame. In 3D, I guess you need to create the characters first before you can even use them. But I would probably say in the long run, 3D is easier than, or it takes less time than 2D. Since at some point you have the 3D model, so now all you need to do is animate. But in 2D you never have, you know, depending on the animation, of course. But frame by frame animation, you never really have something to work off of, because every frame needs to be created from scratch. So I would probably say the longer you go, 2D probably takes longer. Using Mixamo and some 3D avatars, but I want to learn fully controlled animation. So I'm looking for some tutorials. Oh, if I have recommendation, hold on. Oh, if I can recommend YouTube videos. Hold on. So I know that, was it Pixo? Pixo 3D, was it him? No.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it is. He has one, I think. Maybe not. If you want to learn how to create normal animations, like if you want to learn how to animate a character, I think the best channel for that would be the name that I currently forget, which is, let's just look for Blender animation tutorial. What's his name again? Either Joey Carlino, which has quite a few cool and nice and easy to understand tutorials about animation, or the one that I just cannot remember is he doesn't even show up. What's up? What's going on here? Oh, there it is. Pierre Picard. Yeah, something like that. Here you go. Him. He, I think, is the main dude people go to for learning animations. He has like a lot of tips. I've also learned a lot from his videos. So if you want to learn how to animate, you know, yourself without motion capture, he's definitely the person for that. If you want to learn how to kind of combine the two, I don't think he does that as much, or maybe at all. I also don't have a person that I could recommend for that. I think those are just more like niche topics that probably some person probably has made a video about. You should be the next Spider-Man. Thank you. Yeah, he has a lot, and then Joey Carlino has also a lot of good ones. This last one is really funny and good. He has rigging for beginners and some beginner tutorials, but also some other ones, which is rigging for impatient people. Another one here, character animation for impatient people. So he has a few as well, which I think are good for like an introduction into character animation, and some small tips and tricks. I think he also has older videos, but I don't remember those as much. Did you know this new trend, manga animation? Manga animation. It's like animating in the style of a manga, like drawn black and white. Hold on. Manga animation. Oh, you mean when you grab anime, you grab a page of an anime, a manga, and then you animate those images. Yeah. I've seen that before, but not that much. But I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, it's I think I've seen that in like shorts and like, you know, these shorter, like TikTok or short videos. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it, but I'm not in the manga realm that much, so I don't get too many of those.
To have as much freedom as possible, I render these shots in 3 layers.
Okay, so I think I want to do something that I've done in the, what's it called? The Spirited Away video, to create the different layers. Which means 3D animation. Oh no. So let me set that up here. I can't do that on stream because it takes too much of my PC's resources, unfortunately, but I can set it up here. Kind of like the away layers, but maybe in 3D. Done. In manga animation, we use After Effects to animate the picture like hair and eye using tools like Puppet Tool. Yeah. Did you watch the new Deadpool movie? Nope, I haven't. Doesn't it come out today? I seen somebody already made a video about it. I thought it came out today, not yesterday. Wait, when did it come out? Yeah, I thought it... Or is that like an event where people can watch it a day earlier? Okay, have a good one. Moment.
Layers. The background. Okay. This makes it much easier to adjust specific parts of the final result.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think I have a good recording of me adjusting the individual layers. Or the layers at all. I need to check, because I didn't record the second screen, which is a big problem. I guess I have to recreate what I did there, maybe. Let's see what I'm talking about. Oops.
This makes it much easier to adjust specific parts of the final result, like adding a glow to the bright areas or adding a slight gradient between the shadows and highlights. I've played around with a few different techniques between all of these, so the final look isn't fully determined yet, but it looks somewhat similar to this. Last time I created the character's environment highlights. I've played around with a few different techniques between all of these, so the final look isn't fully determined yet, but it looks somewhat similar to this. Last time I created the character's environment VFX animation.
Okay. It's worth watching. Yeah. Maybe I'll watch it at some point. I don't have a certain plan yet. I want to finish this video before that. But maybe I'll get to it at some point.
Fully determined yet, but it looks somewhat similar to this.
Okay. I want to definitely show a final result here. Probably multiple. Let me set that up real quick. Create like a layout of what I want to see here, and then I can adjust it afterwards, create a good framing and stuff. It is in here, right? Material? No, render. No, these two. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna include all of them. This one too, and then this one. Is Unreal good for short film 3D animation? Yeah, if you're good at Unreal. Always depends on that. It can, I haven't really tried it myself, but I know there's a channel called Stylized Station that doesn't use Blender. They use Unreal to create like, to create animations. So here, for example, like this one, I redesigned iconic anime moments, but in 3D. He doesn't use Blender. He uses Unreal Engine. I think he is more deeper into like game design and stuff. So he has done, you know, a little bit more work with Unreal, and, you know, knows probably more about it. So he yeah, works with Unreal instead of Blender. So you can definitely do it. And I think the tools are probably very similar. I just like Blender more because it kind of just feels like Unreal is just another step. It's just like an unnecessary step for me that I don't necessarily need, because Unreal is basically just, for me at least, a different way to display what I want to create. Just like a different renderer. If I would work in Unreal, it would be like, oh, I have this character. I need this character. Let me create one in Blender, and then I import it into Unreal. Okay, now I also need these effects. Let me create them in Blender and then import them in Unreal. And I could just, you know, skip that second part and just do everything in Blender. I also don't know if, at least for me, if you create a short film and it's not like anime style, then of course it's different. But for me, for example, for these anime animations at least, I don't know how good you can create a cell shader, and I would have to look into all that. And, you know, if I already know how to do that in Blender, I would rather stick to that than use Unreal. But Unreal has its own benefits that you can, you know, work with. I think it's better than Eevee, maybe not with the newer version of Eevee, but it's definitely a very realistic looking renderer that is very, very fast and very efficient. So this could be a benefit for you if you want to go in that direction. Also, it has these like mega scan assets, for example, that you can use to build your scenes very quickly. They're all like these 3D scanned assets from real life that you can just all for free import into your scenes from the mega scans library. So stuff like that can definitely make the workflow a lot easier if you you know, decide to use Unreal. I guess Blender gives more polished rendering than Unreal. I think it depends on what you want to do. So if you, for example, go to what's his name? Oh, Daniel, was it this? No, what's his name again? Damn it. William Foucher. He makes really nice looking renders in Unreal. Like this one. Or this one. So it can definitely create some really good stuff. And can look really good. I don't know how good the character animations are. Like how... I think Unreal is really good at environments. I don't know how good it is at character animation. Hold on. Unreal Engine and let's say cinematic. No, not this one. Like this one, for example, somebody made. Rendering montage, most replayed, there you go. So they, for example, made an animation in Unreal. And yeah, I think it kind of depends on, you know, what you like more. Maybe, you know, maybe the workflow of Unreal or the tools you have there, you like more. Maybe you like Blender more. It kind of depends on, you know, your preference. Yeah, there you go. So I think both are good tools, you know, and if you're good at both, or if you get at either, I think that one is the better choice. Okay. Wait, what is this? Oh. Wait, where's the other one? I missed something. Oh. There it is. Haha. Blender makes characters more polished. What do you mean with polished? In terms of what they look like in the end? You can probably make them in detail more polished. Like with cycles, for example, you can create more details and make them more refined. Yeah, I think so.
Layers. The back.
Oh, right. Where do I want to put these?
A gradient between the shadows and highlights. I've played around with a few different techniques between all of these, so the final look isn't fully determined yet, but it looks somewhat.
Right here. 0.25. A little bit too small. There you go. Just want to show off what the final look could be like. 0.4 is good. Yeah, I would never switch to Unreal for character animation because I would have to relearn so much stuff that isn't really worth it. I would just kind of, I guess I would learn something like a new tool, but it feels kind of like a waste of time if I don't need that tool. So I will definitely stick to Blender for the foreseeable future at least. Okay. Also something you might do. You probably do, but I know that it's in Blender, is like procedural textures. You can create like all kind of stuff in geometry nodes, which you kind of do in Unreal, but it's not as complex in Blender. Like, you know, procedural textures to create an infinitely scalable texture for a character, or even just like create an animation with a procedural texture and stuff. You have like textures that you can adjust parameters in, but I don't think you have as much freedom with them.
It looks somewhat similar to this.
Unreal is kind of like the aggregator of like resources from other programs that you can then use to create the final result. Yeah, so it's less about creating something in it and more about putting everything together in it.
Environment similar to this. Last time I created the character's environment VFX.
I think this section I can fill pretty easily by just grabbing the good old Berserk video. Where is it though? There it is. What do I need? Hold on.
Last time I created the...
It's kind of like a... Well, it's a... For animation, it might be more of a video editor, but of course, if you're talking about games, then it's a game engine, right? So it's a bit different. But for if you want to create animations, it's probably kind of similar, like a video editor where you also have a 3D scene to put everything in. Yeah.
Last time I created the character's environment VFX.
Characters, okay. Okay, this one is good. Then I need the VFX. Blah, 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 blah. What is this song? This song is definitely not what I want to listen to right now. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Goldfinch is it's called. I feel like we need something other than laid back. What about happy? Aha. There you go. You should have your own studio. I am my own studio. I am a one-man studio. grab this one too. Just gonna show another character, I guess. Bam. Okay. Oops. Okay, and then we need... Oh wait, this is also nice. Hold on. Yes. I'm actually curious to test out Eevee next for maybe some of my rendered shots and videos, because that could really speed up a lot of my 3D scenes. Rendering this, for example, this could be rendered much easier in Eevee if it's actually, you know, if it actually works really well. I need to probably do a comparison, but from what I've seen so far, it looks really good. So I might be able to speed up a lot of my editing with by just changing to Eevee next, which would be really, really nice. Because the thing holding me back from doing more videos is just how long it takes to edit them. And of course create them too. Okay. Oh, I'm already talking about VFX. I need to have a clip for the environment. This one maybe. Yes. What you're listening to right now is in my playlist of potential songs for a new video. So maybe you'll hear this one at some point in a video. Just seeing your project give me a stroke. I'm actually fairly... I can't really work well if the work is very repetitive or tedious. That just drives me insane. So if I ever create anything, it has to have a certain amount of variance in it. And the good thing is it feels different. Like I can, for example, create a video and then create a project and then immediately go to the video, because the process of creating the video is very different to me than creating a project. So it feels like a nice variation between the two, and I can always switch between the two. What I absolutely hate, for example, is stuff like retopology, for example. That is just so boring to me. But it has to be done, so I just need to suffer through it until it's done, unfortunately. There isn't really much I can do there to speed it up. So that's just one of those sections where I just have to suffer through the gruesome monotony of retopology. Which is also why, if I can, I like to use any retopology tool I can to speed it up. Okay. VFX, anything else? I think that's it. Is it more?
VFX, animation, and sound design.
Oh, animation and sound design, okay. After Deadpool, do a Transformer. Maybe if there's a Transformer movie coming out. I'm kind of interested in creating like one of those transformation sequences myself, because I'm always curious whether, probably not, but I was always curious whether the models, when they transform, if they actually like are realistic in how they transform, or if they kind of cheat their way from a car to a robot. Like whether whether they, I don't know, make things clip together when it's a car on the inside so you can't see it, or if all these sections of the characters actually in the end, work together, I guess. Okay, so So this section is good. And then what was the last bit again? Oh, sound design. I don't really have a good way to show that. But maybe I can show it. But I don't know, maybe not. There's Optimus Prime, yeah. Motion blur. I mean, motion blur, it doesn't only really adds like a little bit of flair, I guess, but it doesn't necessarily change the build of the model, I guess. Yeah, no. Hold on. Let me actually see. I want to check out one of the Transformer scenes and see if I can identify it, whether it's actually a legit model or not, or if there's something weird going on. Transformers. Transformation scene. All transformations 2007 to 2017. Okay, let's see.
If we know rules,
Blah 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 blah. Okay.
that doesn't like space, but
Let's
not
see. Okay, yeah, well, these ones are kind of hard to see because they're so close. But here, for example, this bit. So here we have the arm, which goes into the car. I could see it working. Yeah, this one. Yeah, so it feels like there's just too much that needs to move out of the body of the car for it to actually work. Like, where does that all of a sudden come from? Where does the head come from? Is the head just the motor? Yeah, and then also you need to keep in mind that these sections all need to be somehow on the actual car as well. So it's a bit weird. Yeah, so like I feel like these robots are usually bigger when they're robots than when they're actually cars. But maybe that just looks like it because they're slimmer than the actual car. Hold on. Are the transformations actually realistic? Because they're also oh yeah, there you go. They very much have to cheat. The robot forms are not designed or proportioned to properly transform into the alternative mode, like the toys are. Yeah, so the toys, of course, that's why the toys looked a bit weirder, because Transformers toy, since they need to be able to transform, so they look a bit different, and they actually look like a car, like this. But in the movie, of course, you can be a bit more bombastic and a bit more... you could cheat a bit more and create a cooler looking model by, yeah, just hiding the fact that it's not perfectly fitting in. What's the video about? You can see it right here at the bottom. Right here. Yeah, so they have actually been cheating. Well, which I guess is kind of makes sense. Hold on. Of course, the biped rig can only take you so far, so there are additional transformation controls that allow you to basically rip the rigs apart. Okay. $3,000 plus controls. Oh my god. Oh my god. Each asset is fully modeled down to the bolts so the animators can control them if necessary. sharing or reusing the transformation is not feasible. So each time you see an animation of one of those dudes or ladies, they're always built from scratch. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, so I, for example, would absolutely jump off a bridge if I had to animate one of these, because that just sounds horrendous. Yeah, it's crazy. This guy transforms. Okay. Let me actually, yeah, let's see the last transforms. I'm actually curious. They probably have changed a bit. They probably are a bit more bombastic in the end now. Yeah, they show a bit more of the progress. Yeah, look at this. Look at this guy. How is this guy supposed to fit into this car? And that's how they can also cheat it, by just giving him a backflip in the transformation, so they just hide stuff behind other stuff. Wait, this guy, isn't this guy red and then he turns black? How did he turn from red to black? Interesting. Yeah, okay, but yeah, definitely cheated, but still cool. They are doing intergalactic level of animation. Yeah, I can't even imagine having to do something like that, like animating each little bit just to kind of fit it into place and stuff. You probably also have an end result that you need to get to, so you just need to find like the perfect, you know, movement to get it in that position. Okay, but unfortunately it is time. I want to finish this video soon, at the end of, no, not today, but hopefully today or tomorrow. So I want to have a little bit more, you know, I want to concentrate on it a little bit more. So I will stop the stream right here, but, oh my god, the music. But we've gotten, you know, we finished quite a bit, which is nice. Now it is just about finishing the last bit. We've added a new song, which is nice. The last song that was required for this. And yeah, so I'm gonna work on this a little bit more, and you will see the final video probably on Sunday or Monday. And then on Monday I'm gonna be back, stream again, 12 PM UST if you want to join. Creating something in Blender, not in DaVinci. No editing. Editing is over for a bit. Now it's back to Blender. So if you want to join some Blender work, you can do that. Yeah, so thank you for joining, thank you for watching, and maybe I'll see you next time, but hope you have a good weekend, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching, maybe I'll see you next time. See ya.